051 Delivery Warrior. I'm Rob Luci. Since I was a child after receiving government training, he joined CP9 at the age of 13. He was called the strongest in the 800 years of CP9. He has 1 year of experience as a shipwright, is proficient in sawing wood and nailing, and used to be a foreman in the Carrera shipyard. According to his rich work experience, an interview at a newly built shipyard, no matter what, he should be very popular. However, he failed the interview. Except for him, all the other CP9 members who entered the interview stage passed the interview. If the other members of CP9 had not passed the interview, for a moment, he would have doubted whether the rich group had already investigated their CP9's intelligence, so they did not accept them. Of course. Although he failed the interview, in order to successfully complete the mission, he must find a way to stay here. And he must enter the management level of the rich group as soon as possible. Only in this way can he obtain more information about the rich group. Today. It was the day when the rest of the people agreed to go to work. Each member began to carry out their own tasks and infiltrate various industries in the rich group. Currently, the CP9 members. Only he and Gabra have not found a job yet. Of course, the idiot Spondam did not come this time. This guy only came to CP9 to gild himself. It is impossible for him to carry out such a task of infiltrating and working. Luci analyzed the current situation of CP9 in his mind. Although he and Gabra failed to successfully join the company, CP9 was able to infiltrate so many people. Of course. As the boss of CP9 in secret, he can't just sit there like this. You must know that the rich group is not the Carrera shipyard in the Seven Water City. They are an organization with terrible combat power that can destroy the Four Emperors pirate group. Therefore, this mission must not be taken lightly. Luci silently thought about what he should do next. Anyway, sneaking into the rich group to work is still the easiest and fastest way. So, now you still have to give priority to finding a job. Thinking of this, Luci stood up directly. At this time, Gabra seemed to have noticed Luci's action, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly and he grinned. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that you, the strongest person in CP9 in 800 years, would also fail the interview. It seems are you going to find a job next? Shut up. Luci glanced at him lightly, and walked out expressionlessly. Finish your own task. My task? I've done it long ago. Gabra crossed his legs and rested his head on his hands. Let me tell you. My job is easy and free, with flexible working hours and high degree of freedom. As long as you are diligent, you can earn over $1 million a month in minutes. Unlike you are still looking for a job here. However, seeing that Luci ignored him, didn't even listen to what he said, and left directly, he pursed his lips. Damn it! You dare to be so arrogant! What will you do when you don't find a job? After saying that, he put down his feet, sneaked into the room, lifted his bed sheet, looked at the green vest neatly folded on the bed, and narrowed his eyes slightly. Especially when he saw the 4 words "rich takeout" on it, the corners of his mouth curled up, and he said lightly, You ignore me today. Tomorrow I will make you unable to reach me. It's time. Let's go to deliver the takeout. On the other side. Luci ignored what Gabra said and left directly. Don't joke. What good job can that arrogant guy who is full of lies find? If he wasn't strong enough, CP9 would have fired him long ago. Of course. Next is not the time to pay attention to that guy. Anyway, he is also a member of CP9. After accepting the task, he will complete the work seriously. Otherwise, I will clean him up myself. So, there is no need to care about that guy. Now the more important thing is find a job first. A job that can get into the upper echelons of the FUIA group. At first, the profession of shipwright was the most suitable for him. After all, he had been undercover at the Carrera shipyard for so long, and he was very confident in his shipbuilding skills. But now that he has failed, he can only give up and find other suitable positions. Only by perfectly completing the work assigned by the superiors can he have the opportunity to be promoted quickly. So, after a week of thinking, he probably has some plans in his mind. Walking along the way. About half an hour later, Lucci stopped by the roadside and looked at the store in front of him in silence. It was written on it, FANFIC Group Takeaway Department. There was also a line of small words below. Branch in Wano Country. That's right. It was the takeaway man who was very famous on the sea during this period. After a week of thinking. Since he couldn't be a shipwright, couldn't go to the mine, or go to the factory to screw screws, so the takeaway man was the most suitable for him. The freedom of work and flexible hours allow him to better carry out various spy operations. It is also a special position within the rich group, so the prospects are quite good. Don't underestimate this position. As long as you do well, you can still enter the top level of the rich group, for example branch director, or become the chief instructor of the FANFIC group's deliveryman like the legendary deliveryman of the Grand Line, Might Day. And this chief instructor of deliveryman is more likely to get in touch with the core secrets of the FANFIC group than the director of the shipyard. A smile flashed across Lucci's tough face, and then he walked in expressionlessly, looking at the front desk. I'm here for an interview as a deliveryman. A new high-risk profession on the sea. FANFIC Group deliveryman. It's not that easy to become a deliveryman of the FANFIC Group. If you just want to deliver food on land, you will be a deliveryman trainee all your life. Only by going to the sea, you can become an excellent deliveryman warrior. Under the review of the delivery branch, Lucci successfully became a glorious FANFIC Group deliveryman warrior, especially the strength he showed, which has been recognized and can accept cross-sea delivery tasks. You know, this is Wano Country. If you want to go to sea, it's much more dangerous than other islands. Lucci solemnly took the delivery warrior equipment handed to him by the delivery branch. Green combat uniform, and a mobile phone invented by the FANFIC Group that can quickly receive orders and will not get lost in the sea. From this moment on, when he put on the deliveryman vest, he was a trainee deliveryman of the FANFIC Group. As long as he successfully obtained 100 5-star takeaway reviews, he could become a formal deliveryman warrior. And after passing the branch's strength evaluation, he could accept cross-sea delivery. Lucci put on his delivery vest expressionlessly and took out the delivery warrior equipment, mobile phone. After the teaching just now, he was already familiar with how to use this thing, not to mention compared with Den Den Mushi, this thing seems to have more functions and is easier to operate. There is no need to remember the codes of each Den Den Mushi. He directly clicked on the green delivery app and was about to log in his delivery warrior code to officially receive orders. Ha ha ha, I'm here. A familiar voice came from the door. Today I will definitely get 100 5-star reviews in one day and officially become a deliveryman warrior. After the words fell, Lucci was stunned for a moment, and suddenly raised his head, looking at the guy who walked in from the door, frowning. Gabra. Lucci. At this time, Gabra, who was wearing a green vest, also noticed Lucci, especially when he saw the green vest Lucci was wearing. The atmosphere suddenly condensed. The entire branch fell into silence. At this moment, the two people seemed to ignore the deliveryman warriors around them and only saw each other. Just like that, their eyes condensed and looked at each other. The green vest with rich takeout printed on it seemed to sparkle under the light, and the hair fluttered without wind, staring at each other motionlessly. I didn't expect this guy to come to deliver takeout too. X2. 052 The guy who recognized his son. Wano Country Takeout Supernova. Wolf Leopard Takeout Warrior. Deliver it to you personally. When FANFIC saw the information in his hand, he was also silent, and finally, he sighed. I didn't expect it. This guy actually became a takeaway warrior, and was promoted to a formal takeaway warrior in just a few days. He was known as the takeaway warrior who became a regular in the shortest time. Of course. Fuyu didn't care about these. All members of CP9 appeared in Wano country. You don't have to guess, it's probably that the world government asked them to investigate the news of Fuyu group. After all, with the power to destroy the Emperor of the Sea, plus the Celestial Dragon incident, how could the world government ignore them? But I didn't expect it. This guy couldn't be the deputy factory director, and he actually ran to deliver takeaways. In a short time, he became a famous takeaway warrior in Wano country. I heard that he and Gabra are now the best takeaway warriors in the Wano country takeaway branch. The two have been competing for the first and second place in the Wano country takeaway ranking, and are known as the Wano country wolf leopard takeaway warriors. Quite famous. Of course. Wolf and leopard, this is just to say that one of them is like a wolf full of wildness when delivering food, and the other is like a leopard with quick reactions. Both guys seem to be deliberately hiding their devil fruit abilities. Come to think of it, it's impossible to use your ability to deliver food. As for the other CP9 members, Keiku is now working in a shipyard. I heard that because of his sincere attitude and solid ability, he is deeply loved by the shipyard. With his help, the next commercial ship of Fuyu Group is expected to be sold in a while. Bruno became the manager of Fuyu Milk Tea branch. Because he likes to sing opera, he is now a DJ in Fuyu Ballroom, but because his style does not match the ballroom style, he does not seem to be very popular. As for Owl, with such a strong body, he works as a doorman in the factory. And Khalifa stepped into the senior management all of a sudden and became the director of the sales department. However, Miss Robin didn't seem to like her very much, thinking that she was flirtatious and not a serious person, so she would make trouble for her from time to time. It is said that the head of the sales department, Khalifa, was so angry that she gnashed her teeth and shouted that she was ready to kill Miss Robin. Then inherit her position and become the new secretary. Anyway, CP9 are now working separately, and they have their own development in the Rich Group, which is full of bright future.com. This Khalifa is okay at work, but her work style is not right. She should be punished and warned this month. In turn, Secretary Robin said seriously, I still don't agree with you hiring her. This seriously affects the atmosphere of our Fuyu group. Fuyu, who was yawning and preparing to think about whether to return to the ninja world in a while, was stunned and twitched his mouth slightly. Khalifa is obviously very serious about her work. As for her work style, although she is an agent and has other purposes for infiltrating the Fuyu group, Khalifa is still very responsible at work. Just like in the Carrera company, she still completes her work very diligently. I heard. Now the Seven Water City has already rolled out mobile phones. It's only been a few days. Amazing business ability. Thinking of this, Fuyu said earnestly, Comrade Xiaobin, don't bring personal emotions to work. Khalifa's work attitude is still very good. Is that so? Robin narrowed his eyes and stared at Fuyu, smiling, do I bring personal emotions to work? Fuyu was silent, not knowing whether to nod or shake his head. Looking at the eyes staring at him, he decided to smile and change the subject directly, Miss Robin. However, the words were not finished yet. When you have something to do, call me Miss Robin. When you have nothing to do, call me Comrade Xiaobin. Robin rolled his eyes, with a dangerous look, and said with a smile, you still deducted my salary. It was clearly agreed to be 50 million. In the end, nothing. Boss, you are so bad. No problem. Make me a regular employee. Make me a regular employee now. Fuyu nodded quickly. Then, standing up, he decided not to tease Miss Robin, who had been a little weird since Khalifa joined the company. Anyway, Khalifa. She is a CP9 agent, and she works here just to gather intelligence, so it doesn't matter whether she gets paid or not. It doesn't matter if she doesn't get paid, as long as there's no order from above, she probably won't leave. Thinking this way. If that's the case, Why don't we deduct the other guys' salaries as well? Thinking of this, Fuyu seemed to think of another guy, a guy who was in debt of 200 million and also had no salary. Really? He really didn't expect it. Ace actually applied for a transfer to Fuyu Group? Shouldn't he find a way to escape from the factory now? This is. Are you motivated? Ready to stop being a pirate and work hard in Fuyu Group? After pondering for a while, Fuyu decided to go to Ace first. After all, this is a bridge for him to cooperate with the Admiral of the Navy. When he walked to the door, he seemed to remember something, turned his head and looked at Robin. Oh right. A new model of sea boat is for sale. Remember to advertise it well during this period. It doesn't matter whether the product is good or not, but remember to be handsome. You know. Usually, it is Suzune who advertises, but Suzune has to be in charge of 2 ninja worlds, but it is estimated that Suzune should be able to come here soon. Speaking of this, the group leader sent him a message some time ago, inviting him to return to the ninja world for a meeting. The Double 5 Shadow Business Summit? I wonder if the group leader is going to do something big again? While thinking, he came to the factory where Ace worked. Because of the special transfer, Ace has now been promoted to foreman, and he is getting further and further away from the Pirate King. At this time, as if he felt something, Fuyu directly turned his body to the side and kicked with his foot. Suddenly there was a loud bang, as if something was kicked out. Looking carefully. A teenager? Although he was wearing the green work clothes of the Fuyu group, the cowboy hat that he never put down made Fuyu recognize who he was at a glance. The boy carrying 200 million. Poor Gasti Ace. Before Fuyu could speak, Ace stood up with his hands on his stomach and coughed violently, looking at Uchiha Fuyu with a serious face. You are worthy of being the man who defeated the Emperor of the Sea. Boss Uchiha Fuyu. Your strength is really terrifying. As long as you work hard, you can do it in the future. Believe in yourself. However, Ace seemed not to hear what Boss Fuyu said, and looked at Uchiha Fuyu with burning eyes. I've decided. I will defeat you. If I can't defeat you, I will never leave. What do you mean? Did he think he was Whitebeard? Fuyu's mouth twitched, but looking at those burning eyes. Those were eyes full of dreams. After hesitating for a moment, he opened his arms and smiled. Your firm will and unyielding spirit have touched me. In the future, I will give you a chance to inherit a wealthy group and let you become the business king of the sea. He made a fatherly embrace. Come be my son. After the words fell. This time, it was Ace's turn to twitch his mouth. Is this guy a psychopath? At the same time, after the incident in Wano country, Tuer, who left Wano country directly, also looked at the giant with a crescent-shaped white beard on his face with a gloomy face. He came to this world to relax. So, if he could avoid seeing that hateful, bastard, shameless guy, he definitely didn't want to see. But at this time, Captain Whitebeard in front of him opened his hands, smiled heroically, looked at him, and shouted loudly, "Come be my son." Uchiha Obito. Obito's eyelids were raised, and his face suddenly darkened. How can there be such a hateful guy in this world? Even if I take your ship, I am very good, but you can't recognize your son like that guy. So, without any hesitation, he stretched out his hand and said lightly, Susanoo. As soon as the words fell, suddenly, the whole ship began to tremble. All the crew members of the Whitebeard pirates who were originally smiling at this enthusiastic boy suddenly changed their faces and shouted loudly, Obito! Obito! What do you want to do? Why do you attack your dad? Dad! I just want to give you a warm home. 053 Missing Takeaway Warrior. During this period, except for having another son, nothing else happened. According to Fuyu's original plan, since Ace challenged him as Whitebeard, he should be Ace's father. Being a father, he is a professional. If you don't believe it, go and see how many people in the ninja world call him dad. So, in order to let Ace's son feel the care of a loving father, facing Ace's challenge, he gladly accepted it, and also planned to let him see his father's strength, so that he could understand the broad mind of a loving father. After all, beating children. He is also a professional. At the beginning, it was just as he thought, his son challenged him all day long. According to the plot he arranged, it would probably be like this. At first, Ace was very dissatisfied, but after hundreds of unsuccessful assassinations of his father, he began to feel inferior to himself, thinking that he could not prove himself at all, so he numbly told his father that he was the son of Pirate King Roger, with extremely evil blood in his body, destined to be a pirate, and hoped to kill himself. However, of course, his father couldn't dislike his son, so not only did he not be fired, but he laughed. He opened his vast loving father and hugged the son. Eventually, Ace finally recognized his father Uchiha was a great father. It is gratifying. Ace's face suddenly changed his face, and then he didn't hesitate to turn his head and ran back. As if he had encountered something terrible. It really hurts the heart of this old father. He just came to see his son. Fuyu sighed with emotion, his eyes full of melancholy, holding Doraemon with some loss, muttering to himself, "Sure enough, boys are still too difficult to raise. Girls are better. Daddy's little cotton-padded jacket." Just as the words fell, Robin, who was working next to him, rolled his eyes. So many days have passed. As a secretary, she certainly knew what her father was melancholy about. Is that recognizing a son? Enemy didn't beat him like this. After beating him, he used a strange energy to heal him with a kind face, and after the treatment he sighed and beat him up again. Are you a demon? Now Robin suspects is that Uchiha Obito also a son he recognized like this? Then he seemed to remember today's work. He took a document next to him and said, "Oh, right. According to your request, the quarterly performance of this month has been sorted out." At this point, he opened the document and continued, "According to your request, the East China Sea and the Grand Line will at least build an industry on each island. Among them, Fuyu Milk Tea and Fuyu Barbecue are very popular. As for Fuyu Internet Cafe, it is still in preparation. After the Fuyu group destroyed the beast pirates, no other pirates on the sea dared to rashly attack our industry. Don't say it. After the beast pirates incident, it seems that many pirates on the sea were shocked. Of course. There are also some blind people, but they have basically been solved. However, the king of Dressrosa, Don Quixote Doflamingo, hopes to cooperate with me. I heard that Doflamingo has cooperated with the Beast's pirates before. Now that the Beast's pirates have been destroyed, they hope to maintain the original cooperation with our rich group. The Don Quixote family said they will provide us with some very interesting things." At this point, he frowned. Don Quixote Doflamingo is also one of the 7 warlords of the sea like Crocodile. It's just that this guy is known as the Wise King in Dressrosa. A human trafficker, war profiteer, and pirate is still called a wise king. Rich pursed his lips and said indifferently, "Our rich group is a clean business and will never cooperate with this group of pirates." Human traffickers? Robin was stunned, but since the boss said so, as an intern, she had no choice but to agree. Nodding, she continued to turn the page. There is also one of the 4 emperors, Big Mom. The words were not finished. No cooperation. No cooperation. If you want to eat, order takeout yourself. Our Fuyu group only does business and does not participate in other things. Then I rejected them directly. Although she felt that cooperating with the 4 emperors of the sea was a good choice, but she still chose to execute the orders of this hateful boss. Turning the page again, a new organization has appeared in the North Sea, called the Root Group, and it is now very powerful. Even the North Sea overlord, the Vinsmoke family, has been suppressed. Should our Fuyu group pay attention to it? Root group. Isn't that the old groups? It seems that the group is doing well in the North Sea, even the North Sea overlord has been suppressed. Fuyu's mouth twitched, but after thinking for a while, don't worry about him. Don't pay attention to the affairs of the root group, and we shouldn't interfere at will. I know. Robin was stunned, nodded, hesitated, and asked again, Boss, do you know that root group? Root group. Fuyu sighed with emotion, and under Robin's puzzled eyes, his eyes were filled with a trace of melancholy and memories. That's the benefactor of the Fuyu group. Fuyu group is what it is today thanks to the root group. Then he touched his chin. It has been developed for so long, it should be about the same. I don't know if the root group wants to pull the network cable. Fuyu group is still the same as before, free. We are all friends. No talk of money. So that's it. Benefactor? Robin seemed to understand something. In this case, I will pay attention. No wonder the boss is not going to intervene in the North Sea. Is he expressing gratitude? Although I don't know what kind of favor it is, I think it should be an extremely heavy favor. Looking at the boss with a faint smile on his face, sure enough, the boss is also a grateful person, the corners of his mouth also slightly raised, and continued to turn the next page. For takeout it is steadily increasing, and the number of orders from the Navy is also gradually increasing. However, cross-sea takeout soldiers are still an extremely dangerous job. Many takeout soldiers have been injured on the sea, and in the end, even the meals were not delivered. At this point, he sighed, there is a takeout soldier in the East China Sea who has been missing for nearly a month and has not been found yet. I asked the customer, and he didn't receive the takeout. It is estimated that he hesitated, he should have been buried in the sea. After the words fell, Fuyu also froze. Didn't I say that all takeout soldiers must be trained and pass the training before they can deliver takeout across the sea? Why did an accident happen? He has passed the training. And his strength is very good. He is also ranked among the delivery fighters in the East China Sea, but the sea is full of accidents, maybe because of this. We must find him no matter what. And find out what danger he encountered. If it was caused by pirates, we must eliminate them all. After hearing Robin's words, Fuyu thought about it and sighed. Indeed. The sea is full of countless dangers. Even with the help of Nami, safe routes have been divided, but no one can tell what accidents are. Then he pondered for a while and frowned. It seems a new round of delivery fighter training is needed. Or organize a competition for delivery fighters across the world to cultivate the competitive spirit of all delivery fighters. Just like the wolf-leopard involution. Thinking of this, he calmed down for a while, then looked up at Robin. By the way, I haven't asked the delivery fighter's name yet. Yu sighed. Anyway, since the accident has happened, if he has a family, our Fuyu group must take good care of his family. The sacrificed takeout warrior. Robin opened the file, searched for it, and said seriously, according to his registration information, he should be an orphan. By the way, his name is Roranoa Zoro. After the words fell, Fuyu was stunned, then silent, raised his eyelids, and then asked in a slightly higher voice, who? Roranoa Zoro. The one who uses the 3 swords. The information above does use the 3 swords. What's wrong? Nothing, just do you think it's possible? He didn't actually sacrifice himself, but maybe, perhaps, he should have lost his way. Robin blinked, frowned and thought for a while, with a serious tone, impossible. How could someone get lost for a month? And according to his cross-sea delivery information, the destination is just the next island. How could he get lost at such a short distance? Maybe 054 is not suitable for you. And at this time, at the East China Sea takeaway branch, after a month of searching, finally, they had to believe it. The 3-sword swordsman who had just been promoted not long ago and had good strength and would become a supernova of East China Sea takeaway, the new takeaway warrior, Roronoa Zoro, probably really died in this sea. Although from the moment they became takeaway warriors, they had already prepared to die in this sea. Prepared. After all, this sea is full of dangers, full of known dangers and unknown dangers. Even the delivery industry has been tested by the rich group and has divided the routes. However, an accident may suddenly appear. Now let us pay tribute to the takeaway warrior who died on the sea. After receiving the news from the East China Sea headquarters, the director of the takeaway branch stationed in Sheltstown in the East China Sea also held a farewell party for the takeaway warrior who died not long after registering in Sheltstown. Although he had just registered not long ago. Although he had only delivered his first takeaway. But from the moment he went out to sea to deliver takeaway, he was an excellent takeaway warrior. After the words fell, all the takeaway warriors in the distribution area bowed their heads with sadness, paying tribute to the sacrificed takeaway warrior Roronoa Zoro. Sacrifice. They didn't know if this day would be their turn. But since they had become an excellent takeaway warrior, they would never give up. At this time, even the trainee delivery fighters Kobe and Bellamere, who participated in the memorial, looked forward solemnly. Roronoa Zoro, the first overseas deliveryman who died since the establishment of the East China Sea delivery branch. Sure enough, it's not that easy to become a delivery fighter. Kobe clenched his fists, his face serious, and said in a low voice, "Deliver the things in hand to the waiting people. This is our responsibility." That's right. Kobe. Bellamere also smiled slightly. Let's work hard together. We must not let Mr. Kai down. Now. Bellamere. It's different now. No longer a second-generation ancestor who relies on his father, but a trainee delivery fighter. I must succeed in becoming a regular employee. That's right. Kobe heard Bellamere's words, and his face was also firm. Let's work hard together. Next. According to the process, after paying tribute to the sacrificed delivery warrior, Roronoa Zoro, the branch director began to give some motivational words. Work harder in normal times so that you won't bleed more when delivering food. Let these newly joined deliverymen understand delivering food is never easy, unless you want to be an intern for life. I just got the wind. The headquarters seems to be planning to organize a delivery competition in a few days. Only the best deliverymen can participate. The branch director said seriously, as long as you participate, you will not only get a promotion and a raise, but you will also be able to see the father of Mr. Kai, the legend in the delivery industry, Mr. Mighty Dai. And the delivery supernova, the wolf leopard delivery warrior. Even wealthy bosses will attend. You all cheer for me. Otherwise, I will never let you participate. You know, this is a competition full of blood and fire. It is the top competition for all deliverymen. After the words fell, hearing the ultimate competition of the deliverymen, all the deliverymen's faces suddenly froze, and their hearts were instantly filled with expectations. Kobe also clenched his hands, turned his head and looked at Bellamere next to him, and said excitedly, "We must participate." "Don't joke!" Bellamere shouted exaggeratedly, then covered his head and said, "We are just interns." "So what if we are interns?" Mr. Kai said, "Youth will never allow you to think you have failed before trying." Kobe said with a firm tone, "Let's participate together." You guy Bellamere smiled helplessly, but looking at Kobe's clear eyes, he nodded helplessly, "Then let's participate together." Just as the words fell. At this time. Suddenly. Why is it so lively? What are you doing? A puzzled voice suddenly came from the door. Didn't you say you were going to have a meeting? Why is there a delivery man late? You know, you can't get a 5-star rating if you are late. The branch director heard that someone came to the meeting at this time, and he immediately said with an unhappy tone, "You are just a guy. You are not qualified to be an excellent delivery fighter. You know, today is the memorial day for the sacrifice of Roronoa Zoro. however. Just after he finished speaking. "Roranoa Zoro? Isn't this me?" The guy who walked in at the door seemed to be stunned for a moment, and his tone was also unhappy. "Who said I sacrificed?" At this time, the entire delivery branch suddenly froze. Everyone was silent, turned their heads suddenly, and looked at the guy standing at the door in panic. At the head of the green village, he wore 3 water-drop-shaped golden earrings on his left ear, a white t-shirt on his upper body, a green belly roll on his waist, dark green trousers on his lower body, black boots on his feet, and 3 sabers hanging on his waist. Then he turned his head and looked at the black and white portrait on the wall. His eyes suddenly widened, and he stretched out his hand and tremblingly pointed at Zoro at the door. "Ghost, there is a ghost." Everyone at the scene panicked. But Zoro looked at him with a dark face and said unhappily, "What ghost? I'm not dead yet." "Not dead? You've been missing for a month. I just went out to deliver food. How is it possible? Is there a deliveryman who delivers 1 order for a month? Hey? It seems that it's not a ghost." As they talked, everyone also reacted, and then gathered curiously. After reaching up and touching it, he said in shock, "You are really not dead. I told you that I am not dead. I am the man who wants to become the greatest swordsman. How could I sacrifice so easily?" Zoro's face was dark, and he glanced at his black and white photo again, and said unhappily, "What's going on? Who said I was dead? Then why did you disappear for a month? I told you that I was delivering food. It was just on the next island. How could it take so long to deliver food? Don't mention it." Hearing what everyone said, Zoro's face suddenly became gloomy, and then he took out his mobile phone and cursed angrily, "This rubbish! Isn't it said that it can navigate? I just followed this thing and got lost. Liar! In the end, it ran out of power and I didn't know where to go. Now I found the way back. Ah! In fact, I had given up. But as I walked, I suddenly felt that the door was familiar and came in. Unexpectedly I was back." After the words fell, everyone was surprised and looked at Zoro's phone. "Fui mobile navigation? Lost? Impossible." "Yes. It's quite accurate. It was also because of the phone that my first takeaway order was successfully delivered across the sea. Could it be that the phone is broken? We'll know after trying it." As they talked, everyone ignored Zoro, who grabbed the food on the table and started to eat, and started charging their phones. When the phone could be turned on, they quickly turned it on, and then turned on Fui navigation. After a while, looking at the route given by the navigation, and then looking at the route Zoro walked. What a mess! What the hell is this? There is even a place that keeps looping, and it has been looping 3 or 4 times. Everyone suddenly fell silent. Then, turn around and look at Zoro in silence. Zoro took a bite of the apple and frowned at them. "What's wrong?" "No." "Then why are you looking at me like that?" "I just have a question to ask you." "Speak." "Zoro, are you a road idiot?" The whole branch fell silent again. After a while, Zoro raised his eyelids and said with a grim face, "I'm not a road idiot." "Who said I'm a road idiot? Then why is this route?" "I told you. I followed it. Whoever says I'm a road idiot again, I'll kill him," Zoro said fiercely, then looked at the silent crowd and looked around. "By the way, what competition did you guys talk about just now?" "Oh, it's the Fui group delivery competition. It can compete with all the best deliverymen on the sea." The branch director no longer bothered whether Zoro was a road idiot. It was good that he was not in danger. He just had to report to the higher UPS later. Then he looked at Zoro and started talking about the delivery warrior competition. After a while, Zoro was slightly stunned, then, the corners of his mouth curled up, and an interested smile appeared on his face. "Fighting against the strong? It's interesting. In this case, I want to participate. No. Zoro, you. What's wrong? Can't I participate? This the branch director hesitated for a moment and said, it's just because you disappeared for a month, your delivery warrior information has been deleted. Is it not possible to re-register? It can be. It's just. Everyone looked at each other, and finally decided to remind them. We still suggest that you find a new job. You are so good at swordsmanship, why don't you be a carpenter? There is a shortage of carpenters in Wano country now. As long as you go, you can at least be a foreman. He sighed, looked at Zoro seriously, and said sadly, delivery man is really not suitable for you. 055 The birth of a delivery killer. Give up? Sorry. As a man who will become the world's #1 swordsman in the future. He. Roronoa Zoro. Facing difficulties. How could he give up so easily? What's more, he is definitely not directionally challenged. It's just that the messy mobile navigation took him the wrong way. Really? So, in order to prove himself, in order to re-register his information, he became a glorious delivery warrior, and participated in the upcoming delivery warrior competition, fighting against many strong men. Roronoa Zoro folded his arms, with 3 knives on his waist, his mouth slightly raised, and an interested smile appeared on his face. I decided to participate. He. Prepare. Re-embark on the road of delivery warrior. However, things went against his wishes. Not long after, the East China Sea headquarters received a complaint from a customer. The takeaway was not delivered for a whole day and night, and even now the delivery man can't be contacted. Just when everyone thought that this timing accident happened to a delivery man, but after checking. Roronoa Zoro? How come it's this guy again? But then everyone calmed down. Maybe this guy didn't have an accident. But he just got lost again? Sure enough. A week later, in a small town in the East China Sea, they found the delivery warrior carrying the stale takeaway. This guy really got lost again, however. Afterwards, the director of the Shields Town branch once again earnestly persuaded him to change his career, saying that there was no need to hang himself on a tree, but it still had no effect. Finally, in order to protect the interests of customers, he could only refuse Roronoa Zoro to register the deliveryman information in Shields Town. That's it. When everyone thought that the guy would give up if the information was not registered, a call came from the delivery branch of the next town. A delivery warrior named Roronoa Zoro probably had an accident, and he hadn't received a reply from him for nearly a week. The director of Shields Town was immediately green again, but he still explained helplessly, and then sent people to search around again. Sure enough, Roronoa Zoro was found again in the sea a little further away from Shields Town. Same old. The director of Shields Town still persuaded him, but it was still the same old. The guy left Shields Town the next day. A week later, another branch called to inquire about Roronoa Zoro's information, saying that this guy also went to their branch to register, and then he also disappeared for a week. Helpless. The old minister could only explain again, and arranged for people to expand the search again. That's it. More than a month later, Roronoa Zoro registered information in 5 takeaway branches in a row. He had been in the industry for nearly 3 months and delivered 5 takeaways, but none of them reached the hands of the customers. Even if it was delivered on the island. As long as it was delivered to the neighborhood next door, this guy could still get lost. In just less than half a year, he set a record for the minimum number of orders and 0 successful deliveries. The time he got lost was longer than the time he spent delivering takeaways. But no matter how everyone persuaded him, this guy still had no self-awareness and persisted looking for branches everywhere to register, and finally, with his true strength, he won the glorious title of Takeaway Killer. The name of Roronoa Zoro immediately frightened countless delivery managers, and they refused to register this delivery killer. Of course, because of his persistence and his spirit of not giving up, in the end many people were moved by his efforts. A new legend of East China Sea delivery. Delivery killer. The story of a young man with poor sense of direction who insisted on not giving up in order to deliver food. How much he loves the delivery industry. It's so inspirational. At one time, countless people cheered for him on the internet. That is, the internet is not yet widely used on this side of the sea, otherwise, it is estimated that this story of the delivery warrior's love for delivering food has been sent to the hot search now. But because of this, now, on the East China Sea, the delivery warrior who originally laughed at him for not knowing his own limitations was also moved by him and began to cheer him up. Thinking that he will be able to overcome his poor sense of direction sooner or later and become an excellent delivery warrior. Even the director of the branch in Shields Town, who had been persuading him to give up, was finally moved by this persistent young man and stopped persuading him to give up. He also specially invited Mr. Might Guy, the legend of East China Sea Takeout and the training instructor of East China Sea Takeout branch, to train him, hoping that he could break the curse of being bad at directions and successfully deliver a takeout. Everyone, please welcome. The director of the branch smiled and led the takeout workers in Shields Town to stand at the door. Welcome Mr. Kai. After the words fell, with the welcome of everyone, Mr. Kai, who had not been seen for a long time, walked in upside down with the same cheerful smile as usual. He is worthy of being Mr. Kai. No matter what time, he never slacked off and kept exercising. At this time, even Zoro, who was forcibly pulled over, put aside his inner dissatisfaction and looked at the real legend of East China Sea in front of him. Might Guy. Don't look at him as just a cripple. But this guy is quite famous among the pirate hunters in East China Sea. A man who cleaned up most of the East Sea pirates with one kick, and made the entire East Sea pirates terrified. This is a strong man. From the first moment he saw him, Zoro knew that this was definitely an unimaginable strong man. He swallowed his saliva. Originally, when he was told that he had found a master to teach him, Zoro refused at first. After all, he was Roronoa Zoro, a man who would become the world's #1 swordsman. How could he even need someone to teach him how to deliver food? Don't be kidding. But after hearing that it was the East Sea legend, he finally chose to take a look. Sure enough, he didn't let him down. Zoro's mouth curled up slightly, and he held the knife excitedly with both hands, wondering whether he should challenge this guy now. Boy full of youth. When Might Guy saw Zoro, tears flowed down his face, and he hugged him excitedly. I have already felt your hot youth. What's wrong with this guy? Zoro was stunned. But being held tightly, he couldn't move his whole body, and even felt like his body was about to break. His face was suddenly filled with horror. He is indeed a terrifying strong man. That is. I feel like there is something wrong with this guy? Zoro said with a dark face, let me go. After the words fell. At this time, Kai also let go of his hands, then stretched out his right hand, gave Zoro a thumbs up, and said with his mouth, the corners of his mouth slightly raised, youth means never giving up. Even if the road ahead is full of thorns, you must bravely rush forward. His white teeth gleamed with light. I have heard of your story. Don't worry, I will bet my youth on you. I will definitely train you to be a qualified delivery fighter. This firm tone, this serious attitude and this youthful thumbs up immediately moved the delivery fighters around to tears. You are worthy of being Mr. Kai. I believe that with Mr. Kai's help, Zoro will definitely be able to successfully deliver the first takeaway this time. I have also felt my youth. I will definitely deliver 100 takeaways today. This person with poor directions will definitely be saved. Hey, who are you talking about with poor directions? Zoro raised his eyelids and yelled at the guy watching the show, I just forgot where to go. Facing your own mistakes is also what an excellent takeaway fighter should do. Mistakes are also part of youth. Kai heard Zoro's words, his face suddenly became serious, and said, Next, it's time to start our class, Zoro. It's not that easy to become a qualified takeaway fighter. As he said that, he took out a green tights of the same style as the one he was wearing from somewhere, and the corners of his mouth raised again. You need to wear this clothes. Can I refuse? Before Zoro, who was looking black, spoke. Don't worry. Kai continued to smile confidently, gave a thumbs up, and said with a smile, believe in your youth. Even if you fail now. But in the future you will definitely be able to reap the fruits of youth. Become an excellent delivery fighter. This is it. Youth. However. A month later. Somewhere in the East China Sea. On a green delivery boat exclusively for deliverymen produced by a wealthy shipyard. Kai looked at the unfamiliar sea in front of him in silence, and then looked at the rotten takeout on the boat in silence. He hesitated for a moment, and then looked at Zoro, who was also sitting silently on the boat. After opening his mouth, he gave a thumbs up again, forced a smile on his face, and said, Youth. Sometimes you have to give up. Aaron, otherwise you should go be a carpenter. After the words fell, Zoro raised his head and looked at Kai, whose light was no longer youthful and had become a little dim, with a dark face. You guy. You didn't say that before. What are you doing now? 056. Zoro's youth. Even Might Guy, who beat Madara with 6 strokes, couldn't carry him. Fuyu also knew about the new takeaway in the East Sea legend, but of course he didn't say anything about it. Anyway, after a bad review, the fees that should be deducted will be deducted. It's not a big problem. After so many years, Fuyu Takeaway already has a complete set of takeaway regulations. That's why Zoro only delivers one order every 5 or 6 days, and the number of bad reviews for 3 consecutive months is less than one hand. Otherwise, Zoro would have been banned and would have to find another job. Nothing big happened on the sea during this period. The ship of the Whitebeard pirates was overturned, although many people were shocked when they heard the news at first, thinking that someone was attacking the 4 emperors on the sea again, but later, Whitebeard, who was known as the strongest man on the sea, said that this was just a family game, and not many people cared. But a powerful pirate hunter appeared on the sea again. Immortality. And all kinds of weird abilities. It attracted the attention of many pirates on the sea. I heard that the world government seems to be planning to appoint this guy as one of the 7 warlords of the sea in order to stabilize the situation. But none of this has anything to do with the Fuyu group. Speaking of the 7 warlords of the sea, Fuyu thought of Ace again after leaving the East China Sea. This guy was also selected by the world government as one of the 7 warlords of the sea, but Ace directly refused at that time. Remember that time? There was also a Navy captain who had a good impression of Ace following behind him. I don't know what's going on now. As a father, he still cares about his children's marriage. Now Uchiha Obito has a girlfriend. Originally, they were about to get married, but after the news of the alien ninja world came over, I don't know why it was delayed. Now Uchiha Obito is relaxing on the sea. Uchiha is so arrogant. If it goes on like this, if there is no quick sword to kill the horse, who knows if he will be like the elder at that time. He is still a bachelor when he is old. Talking about the elder, since he bought the luxury ship, the old guy has taken the former Hyuga clan's flower to travel on the sea. I haven't seen him for a long time. I don't know how he is doing now. Of course. Now both sons have girlfriends. As a father, he is very relieved. As for the rich group, the network continues to cover, the products continue to be sold, and at the same time the first commercial ship launched by the rich group to the sea is also about to be sold. The Rich Voyage 1.0 version. There are 3 colors, silver, black, and blue. I won't talk about the performance, as long as it looks good. And it is divided into standard version, deluxe version, and supreme version to meet the needs of all levels. The advertisement will be launched in a few days. And in order to fit the situation on the sea, he also spent a lot of money to invite the East China Sea supernova, the former captain of the Spade Pirates, Porgas d'Ace as the spokesperson. At the same time, the advertisement was carefully planned by Uchiha Fuyu, a famous advertising planner in the ninja world. It is perfect. It will definitely attract the attention of the whole sea. Fuyu smiled at the advertising sign in front of him wearing a hat, with a bruised face. Ace was looking forward with a firm look. After he stood up, a silver Fuyu Yuanhang 1.0 was parked, and next to him. Fuyu Yuanhang. As long as you have it. The sea is free for me. Now everything is ready, the product has been produced, and we are just waiting for the launch date. During this period, since he stopped challenging the psychopath who wanted to be his father, AI suddenly felt his waist didn't hurt anymore, his legs were sore, and he even had the energy to dance at the table. The whole person felt much more comfortable. The whole body is transparent. Every day at work, he is also very energetic. Of course. After these challenges again and again, he finally understood in his heart how powerful the pirates who can be called the Emperor of the Sea are. That was not something that he, a pirate who had just left the East China Sea and was caught to work, could compare to. Sure enough, he was still far behind. Especially that guy, he also defeated one of the former 4 emperors of the sea, the monster known as the strongest on land, sea, and air, King of Beasts Kaido. So, that guy's strength should also be very strong among the 4 emperors. At this moment, Ace probably knew in his heart that his hated father could defeat all the strong men on the sea and conquer the sea. That guy's power must be very terrifying. Of course. During this period of time, after his ability was sealed for some reason, his physical skills were also trained, and he has become much stronger than before. This part-time job life also made him understand he used to rely too much on the power of the devil fruit. I believe that in the future, he will definitely be able to defeat that psychopathic boss and prove that he is stronger than that annoying father. Ace had a smile on his face, then put down the pen in his hand and stretched comfortably. During his time working at the Fuyu Group, he not only got physical exercise, but also wrote daily reports as a foreman. That is, although he has become a foreman now, it is still too far to pay off the loan he owes. Now, there are only 2 ways to leave here. First, defeat that guy. Second, pay off the loan. To be honest, neither of these 2 methods can be accomplished for him for the time being. Ace sighed inwardly and shook his head. The optimism and innocence of the past with a little bit of big brother temperament seemed to have disappeared. After working for a period of time, the whole person seemed to be much more stable. He took the mobile phone on the table and looked at the time. It's getting late. At this time. Beep. Suddenly, the mobile phone made a strange sound and shook a little. A text message came over. Ace opened the text message skillfully. Not to mention, this Fuyu Group does have a lot of good things, for example, this mobile phone as long as it is in the area covered by the Fuyu Group signal. Even in a faraway place, he can contact his partner, and he can also video chat, watch the other party talking, and even have a location. After sending it, you can quickly find the location of your partner. Very convenient. Come out and have fun, Deuce. This is a text message from Deuce, and it seems to be inviting him to go out for a drink. Ace's face suddenly had a smile on his face. After replying okay, he looked at his phone and muttered to himself, I don't know, is there network coverage in the East China Sea? His younger brother. I don't know what he is doing now. Is he still training in the woods behind the uncertain terminal? Thinking of the new ship of the Fuyu Group, it looks very handsome. If that kid sees it, I believe he will like it. Speaking of it, in 2 years, Luffy will also go to sea. I don't know how he is now. At the same time, East China Sea. Luffy, you actually stole the takeaway again? There's another complaint from the other side. Dodin, the director of the takeaway branch in Goa Kingdom, punched a boy wearing a straw hat on the head. They said the takeaway you delivered was all gone. If you keep going like this next time when the FANFIC group's takeaway department is raided, my branch will definitely be ranked last. Damn kid. 057. In addition to being handsome, Dodden looked at Luffy in front of him helplessly. Since the FANFIC group quietly settled in Goa Kingdom, this brat has come to deliver takeaway from time to time. But every time the takeaway is delivered, this guy will shout that he is so hungry after running for a while, and then eat the takeaway himself. Now their Goa Kingdom branch has the highest rate of negative reviews in the East China Sea, and most of them are caused by this brat. Even the takeaway killer who shocked the East China Sea some time ago can't compare to this guy. At least, the takeaway killer has been delivering for almost half a year and has not delivered more than 5 fingers. Thinking of this, he punched again and said angrily, "Next time, don't eat the customer's takeaway. We have to deliver it to the customer." Got it? Got it. You always say that. But you eat it every time. Hehe, you're hungry, don't worry, I will give you money. This is not about money. Bastard. She threw another punch, but looking at the grinning Luffy, she could only shake her head helplessly. After all, she had raised this brat herself. What else could she do? Manager Dodden sighed, looking at Luffy, who had grown up a lot, and seemed to remember something. You will go to sea in 2 years. Ah? 2 more years? Don't you know it yourself? Didn't you say that this was an agreement with Ace and Sabo? Ha ha ha, I'll know when the time comes. Luffy smiled indifferently, scratched his head, then raised the corner of his mouth slightly, with clear eyes. I don't know what happened to Ace. He should have become a great pirate. Speaking of Ace, Dodden smiled slightly, but after a while, he frowned with some worry. It's just that I haven't heard from Ace for a while, and I don't know if Ace has had any accidents. Some time ago, I could still see news about the Spade Pirates in the newspaper, but it seems that I haven't heard much about Ace since half a year ago. Don't worry. Ace is very strong. Luffy heard Dodden's words, still with a smile on his face, raised his fist. He must be enjoying his journey on the sea now, but we haven't received any news from Ace here. As he said, he grinned, and his big white teeth were exposed. He made a promise with me. But I will never give up the Pirate King to him. I am the man who will become the Pirate King," said. Stretching out his right hand, he lowered his hat, with a confident and infectious smile on his face, which made Dodden, who was watching on the side, couldn't help but laugh. These 2 brothers. They will definitely become great pirates in the future. However, thinking, a trace of sadness flashed across Dodden's eyes again. If Sabo was here too. He touched the corner of his eyes, with a smile on his face again. Forget it, let's not talk about this. He continued to punch Luffy's head and said viciously, "Next time if you eat the customer's takeout, I will cancel your delivery qualification." Just as the words fell. Just when Luffy covered his head with a groan. Suddenly, the door behind him opened. A line of people wearing the green uniforms of the FANFIC group walked out. This is someone from the headquarters. It is said that the door behind is the ability of the behind-the-scenes boss Uchiha FANFIC, which can connect various stores on the sea and travel between various stores. It is quite magical. However, this thing, it seems that it can't be used at all if you don't have the authority. Only the guys at the headquarters can use it. Therefore, basically, once someone comes from there, it is basically the headquarters that issues tasks. Dodden ignored Luffy and hurried to meet him, looking at the cadres of the headquarters. "Excuse me, is there anything you need to tell me? You are the director of the Goa Kingdom branch." Director Dodden. The cadres of the headquarters looked at Dodden in front of him and said with a smile, "Don't be nervous. It's just that a few tasks have been issued from above, and they need to be arranged." After saying that, waved his hand. The door flashed again, and several people inside immediately took out several tightly wrapped things and walked out. According to the task from above, all the shops in the East China Sea must put this thing at the door. The cotter said with a smile, "Just put it at the door. You can see the details yourself later." In addition, he took out a small notebook. "If you don't understand, you can take a look at these first. You can also call the headquarters to ask." "That's it. I still need to notify other stores, so I'm leaving first." Before Dodden asked. The cotter finished all in one breath, and then, as if in a hurry, he walked into the door again. Instantly disappeared in front of Dodden, who was puzzled, and Luffy, who was curious. After a while, "What are you doing?" "That thing is for me." Looking at Luffy, who reached out to grab the small notebook, Dodden quickly took the small notebook and said unhappily, "Be honest. I'm just taking a look." Luffy pursed his lips. "Dodden, you stingy guy." After saying that, he also leaned over and blinked. "Dodden, what is that? Is it another delicious food?" "I don't know. Let me take a look first." "Be honest." After Dodden finished speaking, he carefully opened the small book. When he saw the cool silver ship on the cover, he was stunned. Rich Voyager. She remember Edric Group did have its own shipyard. Now the boats used by overseas salesmen are all produced by Rich Group. The quality is still pretty good. So handsome Luffy on the side also had his eyes shining, staring at the cover closely. "What kind of ship is this?" "Rich Voyager. It looks like a new ship from Rich." Dodden flipped through it a little and nodded. "Sure enough, is it a new product of Rich Group? Luxurious decoration? Beautiful curves? Trendy design? Give you the domineering power to dominate the sea. Looks like this is a special advertisement. But this thing is so bright. Although it looks good. But there is nothing to say about its performance. It's too eye-catching. And tens, hundreds, millions, hundreds of millions, just this ship costs 500 million Baileys. It's too expensive. Who is stupid? I'll buy this kind of thing." The words were not finished. "I've decided." Luffy grabbed the brochure with a determined look, and looked at it with shining eyes. "Let's make it the ship of the Straw Hat Pirates." She was wrong just now. There are still idiots who will buy it. Dodden looked at Luffy speechlessly, and then punched him again. "Don't joke. It only costs tens of millions of Baileys to order a better ship, and ships over 100 million are rare even on the sea. No one will spend 500 million to buy such a thing. But it's handsome. What's the use of being handsome?" Dodden looked at Luffy with a black face, and said unhappily, "And you don't have money. Dodden, lend me money. It's written above. If you make an appointment now, you can not only enjoy a 99% discount, but also get a new ship gift package. It's a good deal." "You idiot! You listen to this kind of advertising? And I don't have that much money." Dodden ignored him, took the tightly wrapped thing next to him, opened it, and said, "Don't bother me now." He didn't finish his words. Suddenly he was stunned. Looking at the thing that had been opened, blinked and stared at it closely. A cowboy hat, freckles on both cheeks, bare-chested, and a SCE on the left arm. Dada's eyes suddenly widened, and he couldn't help but raise his voice. "Isn't this Ace?" "Ace?" Hearing Dodden's words, Luffy next to him also came over. When he saw the photo on the sign, he was also stunned. It's really Ace. But why is Ace's face so swollen? 058 Joint Development. Is it the time to care about this now? Oh, right, how did Ace get on it? Did he buy this ship? As expected, Ace must think this is cool too. Dada rolled her eyes, but also frowned slightly, looking at Ace on it, especially the small line of words next to it. Spokesperson, poor gas D Ace. It's really Ace. I didn't expect that he would become the spokesperson of the Rich Group. I haven't heard any news about Ace on the sea during this period. Could he be shooting a commercial? In a moment, all kinds of thoughts popped up in Dada's mind, and then she looked at Luffy, who raised the sign in front of her for no reason in surprise. What are you doing? Of course I'm showing Ace to everyone. Stop, this thing should be placed at the door, don't run around with it. Ah? Why? No reason. This is the arrangement from above. Dada didn't have any explanation. She knew that even if she explained, it would be useless. She took the billboard directly, looked at Ace again, and then looked down. Rich group activities? Delivery warrior survival. What event? What event? It's the event of the wealthy group above. Dodden waved his hand and said unhappily, something about a competition will be held in a while. The first place can get a Voyager. The second place can get 100 million Baileys something. This is an event for the whole sea, I guess we don't need to participate. Don't worry. The words were not finished. I've decided. Luffy next to him suddenly said a firm voice, lowered his straw hat, and said with determination on his face, I want to be the man of the Delivery King. What the hell? The other side. After seeing that the sea had stabilized, Fuyu took the three little ones home. After not being home for so long, Xiao Ding Dang and the others were a little homesick. As for the activities to be prepared, just leave it to Robin, and the rest with White Zetsu watching. It doesn't matter if he leaves. Just right. The Double 5 Business Summit hosted by Danzo is about to begin, and as the richest man in the ninja world, he must participate. I've been back home for a long time. This time he plans to relax. So, the next day his body suddenly felt a little weak. Of course, these are all trivial matters. When he returned to the village, he met the head of Konoha, Minato. After chatting about the situation of the sea and Obito, he talked about the current situation of the ninja world and Konoha. As a Hokage, Minato is also quite troubled by the new generation of the ninja world. After all, look at the 7th Hokage of the other side of the ninja world, and then look at his internet-addicted boy little Naruto, he must be a little depressed. Although it is very happy to be able to accompany the child to grow up, it would be great if Naruto here could be as talented as Naruto over there, but now the peace in the ninja world has lasted for many years, which is really not conducive to the cultivation of ninjas, so, after thinking about it, I hope to send the ninja to the ninja world, and the sea looks quite chaotic. Fuyu also thought about it and felt okay. Anyway, just send the people over, and send these guys to find the big secret treasure. Maybe we can promote the Fuyu group at that time. Therefore, it is agreed. When we go to the sea again, we will take the people there. After meeting Minato, I also went to see Fugaku. This stupid Oni-chan is still the same. With a stinky face. And the Great Elder is not here, so there is no need to go and see the Great Elder. After meeting everyone familiar, Fuyu began to stay at home for the holiday. Suzune was still running between the two worlds, and Hanabi had to deal with the affairs of the Hyuga family. On the contrary, he, the three little ones, and Kana were free. And the ninja world. There was still no change during this period, and it was still peaceful. But the video of the 70-year-old grandmother looking for her grandson was still playing on the internet. It's been so long. Hasn't he found her yet? What is that scorpion going to do? Is he really not going to go back? Of course, Fuyu didn't care much. He came back just to take a vacation and spend time with his wife and children. After a few days of leisurely life, the agreed business summit also arrived. It can be seen that Danzo attaches great importance to this summit, and even invited the shadows of both sides of the ninja world. The shadows of various ninja villages also arrived one after another, and Fuyu also met his second nephew here whom he hadn't seen for a long time. This guy is still the same, and he has always refused to call him uncle. What a tsundere! The meeting was held in the Death Forest, which has almost become a tourist attraction. This place, once feared by ninjas from various villages, is now much calmer. I heard that fewer and fewer people are watching the Chunin examination now. The lively and prosperous Chunin examination in the past seems to have disappeared. Fuyu greeted the cages of various villages. The last incident in Wano country was thanks to everyone's help. Otherwise, how could they gather 100,000 ninjas so quickly? Then everyone ate, drank, and chatted together. As time passed, the 3 CEOs of the organizer, Root Group, also appeared. Suddenly, the originally lively atmosphere became quiet. Everyone looked up at the group leader above. That. A business legend who has gone bankrupt many times in a row but never gave up and is getting stronger and stronger. I heard that he is doing very well in Bahai now. Thank you for your support this time. As the group leader finished speaking, everyone looked at him with slightly frowned brows. They were also quite curious about what kind of summit this time. This Root Group won't want to do business with them, right? Even if they do business, there's no need to be so troublesome. Under the gaze of everyone, the group leader first talked about the future of ninja business, and then talked about the situation on the other side of the sea. What does a new world represent? Resources, market, and population. But that world is too big, especially now it is in chaos, with various forces intertwined. Navy, pirates, revolutionary army, and other forces. In a word, the business prospects are very broad, but the forces are too chaotic, the mouth of the Root Group is too small, and coupled with the other geographical locations over there, it can't be completely swallowed. It's worthy of being the dark ninja of the past. As the group leader analyzed and dissected one sentence after another, the entire distribution of the sea forces was clearly presented in front of everyone. Everyone frowned slightly and looked at the group leader thoughtfully, and they seemed to have guessed what the group leader wanted to say. Finally, after analyzing the situation in the sea, Danzo looked at them seriously, holding a microphone in one hand and a golden cane in the other, and said solemnly, "It seems that you have guessed what I am going to say." After a slight pause, "That's right." Under the gaze of everyone, he knocked the cane in his hand hard on the floor. "That's right. I am going to set up a ninja business alliance. Let's work together to develop the sea. Make money together." No update today. 404 not found. 404 not found. Open Resti 059 changes in the sea. Shimura Danzo, the founder of the Root Group, a famous legendary businessman in the ninja world, the former Konoha ninja, has experienced many ups and downs, but has never given up. In the end, he created 2 very large business groups in the ninja world. Compared with the rich businessman who is careless and relies on the system, Danzo is more like a qualified businessman. He will seize every opportunity, even to plagiarize, imitate, take on debt, open a black-hearted processing factory, and sometimes do some crazy things, thinking about making the Root Group bigger and stronger. Tuanzong. He is a man with a big vision. For this, even Fuyu couldn't help but sigh in his heart. When the other ninja world was exposed, others were thinking about the impact that the other ninja world might have on their ninja world, but Tuanzong was thinking about the huge resources and market. And he did his best to fund Orochimaru's experiment without hesitation, thinking that one day he could open up a new market and expand the Root Group. Although the final result it should be said that he was destined to fail from the moment he entered the other ninja world, but there is no doubt compared with other businessmen, Tuanzong sees farther. For example, this time, Fuyu wanted to occupy the market bit by bit, and then slowly upgrade, but Tuanzong has already ready to integrate all the forces of the 2 ninja worlds and form a business organization to open up the ocean market. At this moment, Fuyu couldn't help but sigh again in his heart. Although this guy is ruthless and shameless, it cannot be denied that he is indeed a man with a big vision. With the help of Danzo and 2 of the top 10 ninja villages in the ninja world, the 2 top 5 ninja villages, together with the Root Group and the Rich Group, formed the business and trade organization of the established ninja world. This organization is just a simple business organization. Of course they say to the outside world that they are just doing business and not involved in other things. However, the 2 top 10 ninja villages in the ninja world have joined forces with the participation of ninjas. This organization is destined from the beginning to be not just a simple business organization. If the sea really dares to stop these guys from doing business, I'm afraid there will be another 100,000 ninjas treading water. After the first week of the organization's establishment, the organization began to take action. According to the first article of the General Program of the Sea's Business and Trade formulated by the group leader, to get rich, you must first build roads. After all, the particularity of that world destined to make communication, transportation, and exchanges difficult, unless you just want to be trapped in a small place to do business, then there is no big problem. But if you want to do business in the whole sea, you have to make the materials flow. And in this regard, because of the ability of the rich kaleidoscope, the rich group will not seem too troublesome, that is, it is more dangerous to run a delivery on the sea. It is well known that the sea, a deliveryman, is a high-risk profession. But in general, the trade route connecting the East China Sea and the Grand Line has also been built. And this time, the group is going to rely on the power of the ninja to open a safe route to the 4 seas. As for the second plan, that is communication. In this regard, although there are den mushi in the sea, this way of contact is not only inconvenient, but also has few functions and is expensive. It is not available to ordinary people. After enjoying the mobile phones launched by the FUIA group, how can they get used to the den mushi of the sea? You must know that the mobile phones of the FUIA group are smartphones that integrate communication, internet access, ordering, payment and other functions. So, the second requirement is to build a network communication route in the sea. Of course, FUIA knows Danzo is not honest. He has secretly studied the mobile phones of his own company and has succeeded. But if you want to join the network, you have to go through FUIA communication. Anyway, this guy has started to get involved in the mobile phone industry. For this, FUIA doesn't care. Anyway, you make money, but I don't lose money. The group has expanded the market again. After the 2 preliminary plans were launched, the 2 ninja worlds officially took action. Under the leadership of the 10 major ninja villages, the Root Group, and the Rich Group, tens of thousands of construction ninjas began to pour into the sea, and appeared in various places in the sea in just a few days. The sea pattern, which had gradually calmed down under the suppression of the navy since the destruction of the beasts pirates, changed again. At the same time, this is the headquarters of the navy. It has been a short time since the mysterious guys appeared on the sea. Of course, for the navy, no, it should be said that for many forces, this group of guys who suddenly appeared actually had their own guesses in their hearts. Just like the guys who destroyed the beasts pirates last time. This group of guys is definitely related to the Rich Group. It's just that later, they suddenly appeared and suddenly disappeared. So far, the world government has not investigated where these guys came from, but the last time they suddenly appeared and destroyed the beasts pirates, they suddenly appeared again this time. The sea is no longer calm. At this time, in the Navy meeting room, all the Navy looked at the intelligence in their hands with a serious face. The terrifying 3-masted ship under the 7 warlords of the sea, Gecko Moria, was destroyed. Germa 66, a member of the world government, and the Vinsmoke family were destroyed. And the destruction of pirates in major seas. This is simply a slap in the face of the world. The sea. It's going to be chaotic again. Marshal Zhang Guo raised his head with a serious face, looked at the people in front of him, and said in thought, "This what does Uchiha FUIA want to do? I have communicated with FUIA group." Hearing Marshal Zhang Guo's words, Quzhan also said seriously, "They said they don't know anything. Their boss took the children to travel outside and hasn't come back yet." His eyelids slightly raised. "When he comes back, he will immediately tell their boss about our call." After the words fell, everyone also raised their eyelids. Traveling? Can't get in touch? Don't know? Don't joke. This rich group is shirking responsibility. Rich group humph. Sakaski folded his arms, with a hint of solemnity, and snorted coldly, these guys are really the variables in the sea. He Garp said while eating snacks and looking at his phone, in fact, they didn't do anything. During this period, he has become accustomed to taking out his phone from time to time to check, but there seem to be a lot more people on the internet during this period. The highest post is Germa66 accuses the invasion of the Root Group. This group of lunatics occupied their territory and plundered their people. This accusation. It's really sad to hear it. Of course, this is not clear. Those who know it know Germa66 has a bunch of snail ships and artificial soldiers. Where does the territory and people come from? Those guys with the same face? Don't joke. After Garp skillfully posted a hee on the internet, he said leisurely, of course, there are still some things that make me unhappy. Ace. The words were not finished yet. Cold sweat appeared on the foreheads of Sengoku and Kyuzan. After all, Ace was still detained in the rich group to work, which was more or less related to them. Sure enough. Although Garp was smiling every day, he must be unhappy that his grandson was left there to work. It seems that he was beaten black and blue this time and the news spread all over the sea. Too much. It's too much. As Garp's old friend, Sengoku thought that he actually used such a despicable method to let his old friend's grandson work in the factory. He felt a little ashamed at this time and coughed twice. Poor Gas-D Ace is a pirate after all, However, the same words were not finished yet. Really? Garp continued with a complaining tone, you actually used such a bad photo, don't you know to use the most handsome photo of my grandson? What if I can't get a wife then? Said, looking at Zhangguo in confusion, by the way. What did you want to say just now? Nothing. You continue to eat yours. Zhangguo raised his eyelids and said nothing more. After looking at Kyuzan's eyes for a while, he looked at everyone with a serious face again. When he was about to say something. Bulu bulu, bulu bulu. The den mushi rang, Zhangguo was stunned, and then seemed to remember something. Under the attention of everyone, he directly connected the den mushi and said lightly, this is the Navy headquarters. I am Marshal Zhangguo. The words fell. A serious voice came from the other side, Marshal Zhangguo. I am Ghost Spider. Now I am reporting on the invitation of bounty hunter Kakuzu to become the 7 warlords of the sea. What's the situation? Zhangguo nodded and continued, did that guy agree or refuse? That guy showed an indifferent attitude towards taking over the position of the 7 warlords of the sea. But after a slight pause, if I continue to persuade him, he should agree. Is that so? Sengoku nodded and frowned, then the information about the Fuya group. This hearing what Marshal Sengoku said, Ghost Spider on the opposite side hesitated, the other party said that they are fellow villagers and came from the same place. They have known each other for more than 10 years. They are his brothers and dearest friends. Sure enough, Sengoku sighed regretfully, the plan to finally get information from this guy still failed. Not really. He said he needs to pay more. 060 The legendary general. Master Kakuzu, is it really okay for us to raise the banner like this? Aren't we worried about being caught by Uchiha Fuyu? To be honest, Deidara looked at the satisfied Kakuzu in front of him, hesitated, and said, I really don't want to face that guy. Not only is he rich, he is also very powerful. Don't worry. It's just some insignificant things. Kakuzu glanced at Deidara and said lightly, even if the Navy knew about it, what would it matter? That's right. Hearing what Kakuzu said, Deidara thought about it, nodded, and said with a smile, Kakuzu, you have been in the ninja world for so many years, how could you not know these things? We are doing business, so we shouldn't say it. No. He gave too little. Deidara looked at Kakuzu in silence. If those guys gave more, would you really expose the ninja world? He shook his head helplessly, but after thinking about it, he stopped worrying about it. Looking at the sea in front of him, he sighed, I didn't expect there is such a place with money everywhere. Then he lowered his head and looked at the stack of bounties in his hand. Who should we arrest now? As he said that, he turned to 2 bounties, which were just issued some time ago. After thinking for a while, he smiled, how about arresting fellow villagers? 550 million Baileys. 2 is 1.1 billion. There are not many people in the sea who can exceed this number, except for those so-called royal groups. After the words fell, Kakuzu. He looked at the smiling Deidara in silence, then looked at the 2 guys on the bounty, and then, without any hesitation, he took it up, crumpled it into a ball and threw it into the sea. Hey, what are you doing, Kakuzu? Deidara was shocked and said with heartache, this is all money. Don't put this kind of bounty that doesn't make money here. Isn't Kakuzu afraid? Kakuzu sneered and said disdainfully, I fought with Hashirama Senjua back then, and then he died. I've been alive all this time. Then why? When I came to the sea, I swore I would never attack my fellow countrymen. I don't believe you. Deidara looked at Kakuzu with a strange look in his eyes, but he didn't continue to expose Kakuzu's past. Anyway, he was just joking. Please. That's the god of Ninja World and the Shura of Ninja World. The monster who was invincible in the whole ninja world. I'm not a middle school student with a second syndrome, thinking about challenging the strong to prove myself. Now, I'm satisfied with making a little money and seeing the new world everywhere. Of course, if I really can't make it, I can only go back to find my junior sister. It seems that he remembered something, by the way. What should we do next? Didn't they say that the rich group is organizing some activities? Why don't we go back and join in the fun? I heard that the prize money is quite high. After saying that, Kakuzu glanced at Deidara indifferently, it's not so easy to take advantage of the rich group. At this point, he looked ahead, this so-called event, I guess it will be a mess. Why go and join in the fun when there's nothing to do? That's right. I heard that there's another big move in the ninja world. Deidara smiled and shrugged, let's continue our journey. By the way, there is a big secret treasure at the end of the Grand Line, and I don't know if we can find it. Big secret treasure? Kakuzu snorted disdainfully, what's the point of looking for that thing? I don't know if it's worth money. The treasure of the Pirate King. It should be quite valuable. Then we can just rob the guy we find, right? Makes sense. Deidara nodded in realization. That's right. Why are they wasting time looking for treasure? Wouldn't it be enough to just rob the pirates who got the treasure? This way, they can not only get the treasure, but also catch the pirates and exchange them for money. Double the happiness. He smiled suddenly, and then, looking at the pirates in front of him, his face was stunned. After a while, the 2 of them shouted loudly with their eyes shining, Stop, pirates in front! Hurry up and report your bounty. Here. It's really full of gold. On the other side. Under the attack of ninja trade. At this time, the 4 seas have gradually been covered by the FANFIC network. Under the impact of this new way of communication, many people on the sea were surprised. This thing. Not only can you make calls, but you can also buy things? It's incredible. At the same time, the FANFIC group is also preparing for the next Wano Country Festival. Since the FANFIC group settled in, it was beyond the expectations of all Wano people. The tragedy everyone thought did not continue. Although everyone is still working, they have been reduced from the original 007, it's 996. And there are wages for work, overtime pay, and the FANFIC group also cleaned up the harmful garbage in Wano Country, and opened the FANFIC Group Academy so that all children can go to school in the FANFIC Group Academy. This, this. What a great blessing! It really moved the people of Wano country to tears, and they were very grateful to the Fuya group and General Ding Dang. Maybe the Fuya group defeated the beast pirates. This is the prophecy of the legendary 9 red scabbards. Everyone kept thinking about the giant of light that appeared on the sea level at that time. They finally waited for the savior. No wonder Lien Raihe has been abandoned the glory of the Kojiki clan and gave the general position to someone else. The only regret is, it has been so long, and they have not seen the new general, General Ding Dang. This is really not a qualified subject. Of course, General Ding Dang should be a burly and extraordinary strong man who can defeat such a terrible beast pirate group and drive General Kurozumi off the stage. Only such a strong man can win the favor of His Highness Hiri. That's right. After hearing that His Highness Kojiki is with Boss Ding Dang, many people did not feel something was wrong in their hearts, but thought it's normal for a beauty to be with a hero. Therefore, I send my blessings from the bottom of my heart. Only however, for this, Kojiki Hiri was quite distressed, looking at the 3 little Lolita in front of her. Yes. Very cute. I want to pinch her. But who would have thought that among these 3 shy little Lolita is the new general of Wano country? Thinking of the rumors outside, Kojiki Hiri was full of helplessness. I wonder if the people of Wano country will collapse when they see their new general? Of course. As the teacher of General Ding Dang, Kojiki Hiri felt that she still had to teach them well, so that General Ding Dang could show his majesty as a general in front of all his subjects. So, it's time for class. Kojiki Hiri said with a teacher's sternness, Your Highness Ding Dang. Your Highness Ling Dang. Your Highness Karan. Please listen carefully. No, I've already had class in the morning. The usually outgoing little Lingling immediately hugged her, with a smiling expression on her cute face. I'm so tired, Sister Hiri, can you take us to see the cherry blossoms? After saying that, the other 2 little Lolas also came up and buried their heads in Kojiki Hiri's arms, which made Kojiki Hiri feel helpless. But after seeing that innocent smile, she finally sighed and nodded. Sure enough, the responsibility of the general is still too heavy for the 3 of them. Until now, Kojiki Hiri couldn't figure out what the rich group was thinking, letting children become generals. Didn't they know that they were just children? As for the position of general of Wano country, she and her father didn't care. As long as Wano country could be founded and Wano country could regain its freedom, it didn't matter who became the general. Otherwise, her father would not have given the position of general to Kurozumi or Akai. But no one expected it was actually just a demon. Kojiki Hiri looked at Doraemon and the other 2 seriously, and said in a serious tone, But starting tomorrow, you have to study hard. Yet X3. The 3 little ones nodded their heads quickly. Sister Hiri is so nice. So good. Just as the words fell, suddenly, White Zetsu appeared and said with a smile, Boss. Princess Shirahoji is here. 061 War. The time for the event to start is getting closer and closer. However, to Fuyu's surprise, he originally thought it was just an activity for self-entertainment, but he didn't expect so many people to come back. Of course. After a while, Fuyu figured it out. Now the Ninja World Trade Organization is active on the sea, and Fuyu Group is also the top force on the sea now. Therefore, these guys are either here to build relationships with Fuyu, or to get information. So, Fuyu didn't pay any attention to it anymore. Anyway, the Rich Group is a serious business organization, and it is impossible for it to be in cahoots with a group of pirates. Just ignore it. The Vinsmoke family is here too. Miss Robin frowned slightly, looking at the statistics in her hand, then raised her head and looked at the boss in front of her, and pondered for a moment, do you want to expel them? After the words fell, Rich looked at Robin in surprise, why expel them if there is nothing wrong? Then he said earnestly, Comrade Xiaobin. Do you have any opinions about them? Don't you know why you expelled them? Robin raised his eyelids, but seemed to have been accustomed to the boss for a long time. He rolled his eyes and said, "Isn't the rich group good friends with the root group?" "Yes. They are my dearest friends. Brothers." "What's the matter?" "Nothing." After seeing the boss in front of him saying this with a melancholy face, Robin probably guessed what was going on in his heart. Although it always feels strange, it seems that the Vinsmoke family probably don't need to worry about it. However, after hesitating for a while, he asked again, "Boss, do you really have a good relationship with the root group?" "Very good." "No doubt." "What's the matter?" "Nothing. Just asking." Robin nodded, and didn't ask any more questions, and continued to look at the documents in his hand. The Navy. His pupils slightly narrowed. The Navy Marshal, the Navy Hero and the 3 Admirals of the Navy are all here. And they sent more than a dozen warships. Seeing this, his eyebrows frowned slightly. "Boss, I don't think this Navy is here to watch the game. You think too much. Maybe they are just here for team building." Fuyu sighed and said in a serious tone, "Please don't use your own malice to deliberately guess our customers. Although you are the son of the devil, you are great, you are arrogant, you—" The words were not finished. Miss Robin's face turned blue and red, and then she stretched out her hands and gestured, and 2 hands suddenly appeared on Fuyu's neck and covered his mouth. Then he said viciously, "I'll kill you, I really will kill you. Can this joke be passed? Originally, I didn't think there was anything wrong with this, but I don't know why, when it comes out of the boss's mouth, I always feel something is wrong. Very shameful." "Okay. Calm down." Fuyu helplessly slapped the arm on his neck, shrugged, and looked at Robin. "Don't pay attention to them." "I know." Robin rolled his eyes at Fuyu, but after a while, he frowned again. "Then should I hide for a while?" "What's the matter? Are you, the son of the devil, still afraid? Two-wheeled flower strangle you to death?" Robin didn't look at this hateful boss viciously this time, but instead stared at him with a smile, but he just smiled a little bit. "Boss, what did you want to say just now?" "Nothing, just that you stepped into the company with your left foot first this morning. This boss is so stingy." Of course. Robin didn't care, just continued to be an intern. "It's not a big deal. But thinking of the actions of the Navy, I'm still a little worried. Is there really nothing to do?" "No. Let's just continue to do our own things." And he said righteously, "The Navy is definitely just here for team building." As he spoke, he said with a smile on his face, "Otherwise the Navy can't be here to die. We are not here for team building." At this time, Zhang Guo, who was on the Navy ship, looked at the people in front of him with a serious face. "The world government has issued an order and sent a special agent organization to cooperate with our actions. This time we must definitely clean up this group of variables." However, although he said this on his face, he was full of helplessness in his heart. If the world government hadn't suddenly issued an order, according to his plan, as long as they didn't stop them from arresting Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, the Navy was still ready to make friends with the Fuyu group. After all, the strength of the Fuyu group is not simple. But since the world government has issued an order, for the sake of the peace of the sea, he can only choose to accept it. And the Uchiha, this mysterious clan, and what they have done during this period have indeed endangered the prestige of the world government. Strictly ruled, look at what happened in the 4 seas. That group of guys who suddenly appeared were simply slapping the face of the world government. In addition, according to the request of the Golden Emperor Guild Tizero, it seems that the rich group has damaged his business and swallowed up his market share. Therefore, he is ready to unite with the world government to eliminate these guys. After all, he is the richest man in the sea. And the relationship between the Golden Emperor and the world government. Although he is a businessman, there is no doubt that the world government values the Golden Emperor more than the rich group. There is no way This guy gave too much. So, in the end I decided to take advantage of this opportunity to destroy the rich group, and then, step by step, eliminate all forces related to the rich group in the sea. Otherwise, how could the Navy headquarters dispatch so many warships? This is more than the Navy dispatched by the Demon Slayer order. Almost the entire Navy force was dispatched. Therefore, this battle must be successful. Sengoku sighed in his heart, his eyes became uncertain again, and he remembered the message sent by CP9, son of the Pirate King. Son of the Devil. I didn't expect that Garp and Kuzan had concealed it from him for so long. And if they mobilized troops against Wano country this time, the so-called Son of the Devil and the Son of the Pirate King must be eliminated together. Thinking of this, Sengoku took a deep look at Garp, who was still playing with his mobile phone next to him with a smile. However, this time he didn't stop this guy again, but a trace of guilt flashed in his eyes, and he sighed again. He knew how much Garp loved his grandson. But for the peace of the sea, he had to do this now. Zhang Guo's eyes narrowed, and he said in a serious tone, "Give orders to the people below in advance, and all warships must be prepared. When the order is issued tomorrow, immediately fire at Wano country." After a slight pause, "Don't underestimate the Fuya group." Yes. At the same time, on the Navy ship, a Navy looked at the Navy, who was lying on the ground with his eyes closed, motionless, and was stripped naked by him, and said with a smile, "Is this enough? I don't know how the other guys are doing." After the words fell, after hiding the person, he turned around and left. Dare to invade Wano country? Don't you know that Wano country has become the territory of the boss Doraemon? Just see. The Navy hiding under the bed actually looks exactly like the Navy walking outside in front of him. 062 End. Soon. The event held by the Fuya group is finally here. Countless maritime forces have poured into Wano country to participate in this event. Except for the newly appointed and the ones who were eliminated by ninja trade not long ago, the remaining 5 of the 7 warlords of the sea are here. At this time, the 7 warlords of the sea sat together and looked down expressionlessly. If it weren't for the world government's transfer order, the 7 warlords of the sea would never come to participate in this foreign competition. Don Quixote Doflamingo, wearing a pink feather coat and cropped pants, looked down with a weird smile on his face. It's really a scene of singing and dancing. But after a pause, he laughed. I guess the rich group can't go on this time. Navy. Pirates. Most of the forces on the sea are here. It looks so lively. But no matter how you look at it, something is wrong. However, the rich group seemed to be blind and continued to hold the event without any sign of stopping. Is it a fool? How is this possible? How could a guy who could destroy the beast's pirates be an idiot? The Fuya group is absolutely confident. Thinking of the fact that he had sought cooperation from the Fuya group some time ago but was rejected, Doflamingo's face darkened, but the corners of his mouth slightly raised. It's really interesting. Facing so many forces. I don't know where the Fuya group's confidence comes from. However, after the words fell, the other Shishibukai beside him ignored him, either with a blank expression or with a sneer on their lips, just watching. Only Jinbei of the Sun Pirates also had a blank expression, but at this moment his heart was anxious. However, at this moment there was no chance to contact the Fuya group at all. You know. The Admiral of the Navy was watching on the side. In the end, he could only sigh helplessly and grit his teeth. Well, if it doesn't work, for the sake of my morality, I can only help the Fuya group later. At this time, when some uninformed guys saw the dense navy, their pupils shrank. The Admiral of the Navy, the Navy hero, the 3 admirals of the Navy, the Navy generals. The Navy actually dispatched most of its forces. What is it trying to do? Is this activity so attractive? They actually dispatched the 3 admirals of the Navy together. It's impossible. Is something big going to happen? Even Sabo, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army hiding in the dark, looked a little strange after seeing this scene. At this time, he recovered his memory. After seeing the advertisement that Ace ran, he recovered his memory. But when he heard that Ace didn't do pirates, but chose to work in the factory, Sabo was confused. This is impossible. As Ace's brother, he certainly knows what Ace is thinking. Ace also yearns for freedom, how could he work in the factory? Therefore, with doubts and the urge to see Ace again, he also led the Revolutionary Army to participate in this event. But now, it seems something is wrong with this event held by the rich group. Sabo lowered his hat and glanced at the Navy, who did not move but occupied a position and sat there expressionlessly. After pondering for a while, he lowered his voice and said to his partner beside him, "Hide your identity. Once you find something wrong, everyone retreat immediately. This time to Wano country." It was just a sudden impulse, not the mission of the Revolutionary Army. He couldn't put his partners in danger because of his own affairs. However, the atmosphere of this event, it was solemn from the beginning. After all the forces appeared, the atmosphere became more depressing. Originally, it was thought that this was just an ordinary event organized by the FUIA group, but in the eyes of everyone it seemed that something big was going to happen. So now, will the FUIA group continue? Just when everyone was confused, the representative of the FUIA group also came out. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the man in a formal suit, smiling at them, Uchiha FUIA. That is, the man who destroyed the beast pirates. Although it was rumored that the guy who destroyed the beast pirates was a little girl named Uchiha Ding Dang, everyone knew it was just a father avenging his daughter. So, everyone paid more attention to Uchiha FUIA, not a little girl. Welcome everyone to participate in the event organized by the FUIA group. FUIA looked at the dense audience in front of him and the participants below, especially when he saw the clown pirates, the takeaway group. He was also stunned. Unexpectedly, the lucky and domineering clown emperor would also come to participate. Compared to the Navy, this guy surprised him more. Who knows, who will be the guy who will win in the chaos? The future takeaway legend. The takeaway king Bucky? Of course. After a while, I stopped paying attention. Anyway, no matter who wins the championship, the FUIA group will not lose. The advertisement has been successful. This is a competition that is destined to be recorded in the history of the sea. After all, so many forces have come to participate, basically all the forces in the sea have come. It has been remembered by everyone before it even started. However, FUIA is not sure whether it can go smoothly. Glancing at the Navy, he was a little surprised to see that they did not start immediately. Then, after a few simple words, he waved his hand and announced the start of the event. The takeaway competition. Of course, it is a competition to deliver takeaways. However, it is not so simple to deliver takeaways to customers. A takeaway is a high-risk profession. However, as soon as FUIA finished speaking, before the delivery man even took action, "Let's do it!" Marshal Sengoku shouted immediately, "Let the warships fire!" After saying that, in the confusion of everyone, the Navy generals beside him also stood up, and quickly took out their own den mushi, called the navigator of the warship in charge, and lowered their voices and shouted, "Fire!" After saying that, "Fire!" how could the other pirates around not hear the order given by the Navy generals? I didn't expect it. The Navy really came to declare war. They actually thought of letting the artillery fire cover Wano country directly? This is demon-slaying order? The Navy Marshal, the Navy Hero, and the Navy's 3 admirals issued the demon-slaying order together? Looking at the Navy, who stood up with a serious face, everyone's faces showed panic. Oh no! Is this going to kill them too? However, it's too late now. At the moment the order is issued, the Navy's artillery will immediately cover the entire Wano country. Hey? It's been so long. Why hasn't the Navy's artillery come yet? What happened? Could it be a lie? Everyone was stunned again, and this time they didn't run away, but looked up at the Navy standing majestically above. Where are the guns? Why haven't they seen them yet? However, at this time, the Navy was also a little confused. Originally, they were going to give an order, and the artillery would be fired, and then the Navy generals would quickly move out to cooperate with the artillery coverage to enforce justice on the wealthy group. But now, what's the situation? Didn't the warship receive the order? The momentum suddenly withered. All the Navy generals looked at each other, and then looked at Zhang Guo together. Keep calling. Zhang Guo raised his eyelids, but continued to maintain the demeanor of the Navy Marshal and said, "Hurry up. Contact the warship for artillery coverage." After the words fell. Yes. All the Navy took out their den mushi again, quickly dialed the number, and said in a cold tone, "Fire." After that. Just when he was about to hang up the phone again, suddenly, a strange voice came from the den mushi on the other side. "Hello. Your warship has returned. It can't fire." Returning? The Navy was stunned, but his face changed after a while. He understood what was going on. There was an accident on the warship. He looked at Marshal Zhang Guo quickly. Marshal Zhang Guo's face also changed. He didn't expect that the Navy warship that was fine yesterday would have an accident so soon. What happened? Why didn't they receive any news here? Sure enough. Don't underestimate the Fuya group. If there is no assistance from the warship's artillery, this time the cleanup of Wano country will be much more troublesome. But at this moment, it's too late to think too much. No more hesitation. Do it. After saying that, Zhang Guo rushed forward directly, for justice. For justice. All the generals no longer cared about the warships and rushed forward. Even the 7 warlords of the sea could only rush forward together. The war has begun. The terrible momentum of the Navy generals charging together stunned everyone. The delivery man who participated in the game looked at this scene blankly. What happened? Will the game continue? Is it over like this? No. Now we should run for our lives. Looking at the scene in front of us with fear, just when we were about to run for our lives. The game continues. A plain voice suddenly floated in the sky. Everyone couldn't help but stop, looking towards the place where the voice came from. At this time, several figures with terrible momentum suddenly appeared around. That was the strong man who stirred the sea during this period. Uchiha Shiin, Uchiha Fugaku, Uchiha Obito, Hyagahiri, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, Senju Tobirama, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Mito Kato-en, and the Root Group CEO, Shimura Danzo, and the Rich Group CEO, Uchiha Rich. No wonder the Rich Group is not nervous at all. It turns out that they have been prepared for a long time. Really? You are still planning to do business? Rich sighed helplessly, looking at the people in front of him with a smile. I didn't expect you really didn't come for team building. After the words fell, giants rose into the sky, and under the horrified eyes of the Navy generals, they looked down at them. As if saying, "Do you want to fight?" Comments on the end of the book. Let's end it like this. I won't write about the battle. Anyway, there is nothing to write. I will make up for the extra later. Thank you all readers for your continued support. This book has been published since May 24th, and it has been almost 10 months now. To be honest, it was an accident to publish this book. Because the original work failed, I had to come back to write fan fiction. Although the performance of the new book didn't seem to be very good at the beginning, the readers always accompanied Xianyu, so Xianyu didn't give up. In the end, it unexpectedly appeared on Sanjiang. Of course. The only regret is, it peaked right after it was put on the shelves. When it was put on the shelves, the average subscription was 1760 plus, and now the average subscription is 1523, and the high subscription is 6900. Yes, it started to fall from the second month after it was put on the shelves. Of course, it was a bit unexpected for Xianyu to fall for so long to reach 1500 plus. Therefore, the performance of this book can be regarded as the best among the few books of Xianyu. However, it's not anyone else's fault. This book has inherent defects, that is nonsensical, no main line, or the main line is vague. Therefore, many people gave up after chasing, which led to the situation that it peaked right after it was put on the shelves. Xianyu has always wanted to write a cool and exquisite article, but he has never been able to write it. Instead, he began to doubt himself and lost confidence while writing. In fact, this book should only be about Naruto. After all, it was written about Naruto from the beginning, but later, after thinking about it, Xianyu added one piece on his own initiative. However, when writing, he found that the plot was always repeating the things in Naruto. He wanted to make a breakthrough, but he couldn't jump out of this framework, because Fuyo was already invincible, and writing more would just be water. In addition, he didn't write according to the original outline and jumped directly. Therefore, many plot descriptions were unclear. I felt a little constrained when writing later. I wanted to improve the plot but found that I couldn't find a good opportunity. It was imperfect, the plot couldn't be pushed forward. If I pushed it forward by force, I would have to continue to be water. Finally, after consideration, I still felt that it was time to end it. There is really no need to write. Reflection. The shortcomings of this book: there is no main line, the rhythm is sometimes not well grasped, some places are too water, and the cool points are not coherent. Xianyu will pay attention to the next book. So, I can only say sorry to the book friends who feel that the ending is bad. This is Xianyu's problem. The outline is not done well. And Xianyu always wants to make a breakthrough. In fact, this book also has the shadow of Xianyu's first 3 books. If you don't make a breakthrough, you can't write anything new, but it will kill your fighting spirit. As for the new book, it is not ready yet. Xianyu found that what he originally wanted to write seemed to have been written by others, and it was written better than Xianyu. He was full of entanglement and regret. In the end, he thought I had to give up. Actually, I was still hesitating, not knowing what to write. I can't compare. I am rethinking the new book. Please wait a moment, I will take a break for a while, write some extra chapters, and adjust my mentality. My dream: to write a big hit that readers can read repeatedly. But after 3 years, it seems that I am further away from my dream. Finally, I would like to thank all readers for their company. I hope that my book will bring joy to everyone. Extra chapter: times have changed. Mr. Aokiji. Are you here? Yet. 2 years have passed, and Aokiji is still the same. It seems that his messy hair has never been washed, and he exudes a lazy atmosphere, but the white cloak of justice is no longer on his body. At this time, on his body, a heavy dark green coat, a white v-neck long-sleeved shirt inside, black trousers and black boots on the bottom, a brown backpack behind him, the eye mask on his forehead is gone, and his eyes are wearing a pair of round-frame sunglasses. Aokiji casually greeted the front desk lady at the door, then ignored her and walked in directly. Buddha's Iron Fist Shipping Company. That's right. This is Marshal Sengoku. Oh, it shouldn't be called Marshal Sengoku now. So, this is the shipping company founded by the former Marshal Sengoku and the former Navy hero Garp. Since the war that shook the ocean broke out 2 years ago, things have become out of control. Most of the Navy's forces were left in Wano country, and then the entire ocean began to fall into chaos. After the world government failed to seek peace with many forces such as the rich group, it began to declare war. That war. It's still unforgettable. Forget it, it doesn't matter to talk about it now. Anyway, the world government failed, and the celestial dragons have become history of the past. After walking in and coming to a spacious courtyard, Aokiji looked up at the familiar figure basking in the sun in the courtyard, with a smile on his lips, Grandpa Sengoku. After the words fell, Zhanguo, who was resting in the courtyard, took off his sunglasses, sat up sideways, looked at Aokiji who came in, and was slightly surprised. Then he showed a hearty smile that he hadn't seen for a long time. Aokiji? Ha ha ha, why are you here? Don't you have to go to work at the Alliance today? Me? Aokiji also smiled slightly, glanced at the current Zhanguo, and threw the backpack in his hand aside. Then he sat on the beach chair in the courtyard, lay down skillfully, stretched comfortably, and said, "Too tired, so, I quit." Although only 2 years have passed, Zhanguo seems to have aged a lot, his hair has become grey, and the wrinkles on his face have increased. It seems that the defeat of the war that changed the sea that year also had a great impact on Zhanguo. I have resigned. But now he looks much more energetic. How can you say you're tired of upholding justice? Hearing Aokiji's words, Sengoku immediately showed the serious expression of the former Marshal Sengoku, but after a while, he laughed to himself and lay down again, sighing with emotion, his cloudy eyes carrying a trace of memories. Since when did it start? You and Borsellino have been slacking off. As long as there is no order from above, you don't care, either go out to sea and wander around, or sleep in the Navy headquarters. Humph! He snorted twice on his face. Do you really think I don't know what you two are thinking? Glanced at it, as if he crossed his legs, as if he didn't hear what he said. Kuzan, who was enjoying the sun leisurely, also calmed down a lot. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Where is Borsellino? His tone gradually became resentful. Last time, he resigned from the Alliance like you, and I took him in with kindness, but what happened? He ran away before even the internship period was over. Really? He didn't even finish his work. I don't know where he ran away. He really became lazier after he stopped being an admiral. How could he run away before even submitting his resignation letter? He has already gone to the rich group. As for why he ran away? Don't you have any idea in your heart? Kuzan pushed his sunglasses, glanced at the old man with a strange look, and sighed in his heart. Later, the world government was defeated, and under the leadership of the Shinobi United Trade, it united with the then revolutionary army to form an alliance to re-establish order. Then, not long after, in order to maintain the order of the sea, many Navy officers returned, and in the past 2 years pirates were constantly cleared. Now pirates are rare on the sea, and with the rich network coverage, as long as something happens, it can be seen on the internet. Therefore, the sea now is really much calmer. It's just that the sea is calm, but the Alliance is more tired. They have to go to the sea and patrol the sea when there is nothing to do. After working for a while, Borsellino resigned because he was too tired, and then came to work for Mr. Zhanguo. I originally thought that working under Mr. Zhanguo would be the same as before, reading newspapers, making coffee, picking nails, and sleeping during work hours. The result? Mr. Zhanguo is no longer the old man he used to be. After starting his own company with Mr. Garp, he became much stingier. I heard Borsellino complain that he had not received his salary for a month because he was late for a week in a row. Mr. Zhanguo is no longer the fair admiral of the Navy, but a black-hearted capitalist. So Borsellino, who wanted to find a retirement job, ran away not long after. Now he is the director of the FANFIC logistics department in FANFIC Group. All he has to do at work is drink tea, sleep, stamp, and get his salary on time every month. It's quite leisurely. How about you come and work with me? Zhanguo next to him continued, don't worry, How could I treat my former subordinates badly? You will be promoted immediately after the internship period of 3 months. Now Buddha's Iron Fist Company is thriving. As long as you join in the future, Buddha's Iron Fist will become bigger and stronger, and I guarantee you dividends. Don't worry, the work is easy and free. I heard that Guy Borsellino said. Hearing Kuzan's leisurely voice, Jean Guo raised his eyelids, sighed, and shook his head. Young people, how can you sleep all day? Now is the time to struggle. I'm not young anymore, I'm over 50. Only over 50. Still young. You weren't like this before. Old man Jean Guo. Kuzan raised his eyelids, but stretched lazily. Forget it. I don't want to work anymore. I'm going to walk around next. Look at the sea, and then go to the ninja world. Is that so? After hearing Kuzan's words, Jean Guo shook his head in disappointment, but he didn't force it anymore. He also looked at the afternoon sun lazily. The ninja world, now I think about it, it's really incredible. No wonder they have been investigating on the sea for so long and there is no news at all. It turns out that they are from another world. I remembered the news I found on the internet. The man who defeated God Uchiha. What a terrible guy. It was this superstandard guy that even the world government couldn't do anything about that made them lose so badly. Come to think of it. Buddha's Iron Fist Shipping has also established a route in the ninja world. There are goods to be delivered every day. Why don't you follow this route? The internship period is only 1 month. Spare me. Kuzan smiled bitterly, then seemed to remember something and looked around. By the way, where is old man Garp? Really? 1 or 2 of them are so lazy. When he first joined the Navy, he was still a diligent young man. After hearing that Kuzan was really going to retire early, Sengoku complained like an old man, and then continued, Garp just returned to his hometown a few days ago. It seems that he was almost mad at his grandson. At this point, his tone was then he said with a smile, that old man actually dared to take advantage of Roger. If Roger knew about it, he would definitely be beaten to death by Roger. Speaking of which, Garp and Roger should also thank us too. Now Roger's son has landed and has become a grateful cadre in the rich group, managing multiple departments. Sabo followed Garp's son in the alliance and is also a senior official of the alliance. Only his own grandson still wants to be a pirate now, didn't he check the internet? Shanks has gone to transport, and Whitebeard has also established the Whitebeard delivery group and is delivering food. As for the Big Mom pirates, speaking of this, his face became even happier. Because he was prone to mental illness, he was a threat to public safety at sea. He was asked to go to a mental hospital, but he refused and had a mental illness in front of people. In the end, he was beaten to death. The entire pirate group fell apart. Those who should be arrested were arrested. Those who should be arrested were arrested. I heard that only one of the 3 former desert generals was just released from prison some time ago. What's her name? Oh, right, Charlotte Katakuri. It seems that she is selling mochi in the Grand Line and supporting her big family. Charlotte mochi, don't mention it, it tastes great. However, as he spoke, looking at Kuzan who was silent and listening to him quietly, Sengoku's heart suddenly surged with emotion. He rested his head on his arms, looked at the afternoon sun, and said lightly, times have changed. At the same time, in the East China Sea, times have changed. You stinky boy! Garp angrily punched the road in front of him. Find a job for me. If you can't, join the alliance. It just so happens that your father and Sabo are there. You still want to be the pirate king? Are you going to piss me off to death? Look, that Shanks. What red hair transport group? A bunch of guys who abandoned their wives and families, and can't do anything. Still running transport? What's the result? Because of drinking and holding banquets all day, the goods were delayed, and now they are about to sell the ship for compensation. A few days ago, he asked me to borrow money. I won't lend him money, let him lead my grandson astray. Still a pirate? Does he think that he will visit the prison when he is old? That Shanks really leads the child astray. Extra story, The Dream of a Young Man. Garp has been very melancholy recently. Looking at his silly grandson who was smiling and covering his head like before, he couldn't help but sigh with emotion in his heart. Although he rejected Ace and Luffy's desire to become pirates, he never stopped their dreams. Because as their grandfather, Garp knew that even if Ace and Luffy became pirates, they would never do anything against their bottom line. They were just pursuing their own freedom. So, as a grandfather, how could he stop his grandson's dream? But now, times are different. If Luffy dies under the pirates' banner, although Luffy will not be directly arrested and executed due to his sons and Sabo's reputation, he will probably have to spend a few years in prison. Although the number of pirates has gradually decreased, the world government has never relaxed its efforts to capture pirates and maintain the peace of the sea. The era of the sea has passed. After the Alliance issued the Eliminate Pirates decree, the era of great pirates that Roger had once set off has ended. Especially the last battle of the pirates saw the pirates in the entire sea gathered to resist for freedom. However, this war, in the end, was still defeat and ended in failure with the annihilation of all the pirates. It is called the last freedom of pirates by the sea. As for the specific situation, you can find it in the ninja degree, so there is really no need to say more. Therefore, now, even Shanks has taken down the pirate flag of the Red Hair Pirates and put up the flag of the Red Hair Shipping Group to run shipping, but these Gusti delivery time is not punctual, the scale is small, and they like to hold banquets from time to time. They are not good at doing business at all. In the end, they encountered another fraud and lost all their working capital. As a result, they owed a lot of debts and couldn't find new customers. I heard that they have fallen to the point of selling pirate ships. Garp sighed inwardly and looked at Luffy in front of him. There is no future in being a pirate. However, this is my dream. No matter how Garp dissuaded him, Luffy still had an optimistic and innocent smile on his face, lowered his hat. It's also my agreement with Shanks and Ace. Shanks has gone to run shipping and is almost bankrupt. As for Ace, with a dong sound, another punch went down. Garp looked at Luffy, whose head was a little swollen, and said unhappily, I am much more successful than you now. Originally, he was more worried about Ace. After all, the blood of the Pirate King, the extremely evil blood on this sea, the blood that the world government believes should not exist, once it is exposed, the impact on this sea can be imagined. It will definitely cause a shock to the sea. However, this is in the past. Now Ace has been exposed for a long time. He was on the headlines of Ninja Degree some time ago, which aroused the curiosity of countless people. After many netizens investigated and learned about his life experience, they also felt sympathy for his experience. Really? When he saw it on his mobile phone at that time, he also had a look of seeing a ghost on his face. Finally, he really understood in his heart. The sea is no longer the sea it used to be. The grandson who used to worry him has now become the grandson he is proud of. On the contrary, the silly grandson in front of him is still daydreaming about becoming the Pirate King, which is really worrying. Who else will go pirate with you now? I have found one. Is there really a fool like you? Where did you find one? I met him online. Is he a liar? You know there are still a lot of scams on the internet now. You know that bastard Shanks. Garp raised his eyelids, as if he thought of something interesting, and said with a cheerful face, this guy received a message some time ago that someone claimed to be the Pirate King, Gold Roger, saying that he is not dead yet. Forget it, why say so much now? He looked at Luffy with a serious face, don't be fooled by others, kid. However, you are not allowed to say that about my partners. Luffy was immediately unhappy when he heard his grandfather say that his partners were liars, and he yelled at Garp, they are my partners. We have agreed to meet at that time. After saying that, ignoring his grandfather who raised his fist again, he ran directly to the back, and while running, he shouted loudly, "I am the man who will become the Pirate King. I will definitely prove it to you." After saying that, this firm back and voice also made Garp, who was about to continue to persuade him, slightly shocked. After a while, he sighed with emotion, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. "Even if the sea has become like this, you still haven't given up your dream? You are worthy of being my grandson." But Garp sighed again on his face, shook his head, and said with a melancholy tone, "This dream is already wrong." On the other side, Luffy came to the coast and looked at the sea in front of him. His most powerful enemy in the Goa Kingdom's waters, the King of the Sea, had been eliminated by the Alliance some time ago. He had also been online and understood what was happening in the sea now. But no one can stop a young man from pursuing his dream. Luffy's mouth corners slightly raised, looking at the vast sea. After a while, he took out his mobile phone, and also skillfully opened the ninja on his mobile phone, and found his new partner. "My family really has a 9-tailed fox and my uncle is the richest man in the ninja world." That's right. These two are the partners he found. Just like him. Also hope to enjoy adventure with his companions and find the legendary final island of Larif. So, Monkey D. Luffy still has a partner. Luffy quickly sent a message to the two. 5 days later, let's go on an adventure together. Then, grinning, his white teeth were exposed again. Looking at the sea in front of him, he stretched out his right hand, lowered his hat, and smiled and muttered to himself, "I will be the Pirate King." 5 days later, a ship appeared on the coast of Goa Kingdom. Luffy boarded the ship with the blessings of a group of partners in Goa Kingdom. Grandpa did not show up. But he knew Grandpa would not stop him. Looking at the blonde and black-haired boys beside him, these are his partners, and they will accompany him to go out to sea and take adventures. And this ship they bought it together, and they are also their partners. Luffy sat at the bow, looking at the vast sea in front of him, blowing the refreshing sea breeze, waving his hands, smiling, and shouting loudly, "Let's go." Just like that, the boys set off to the sea with their dreams. However, a week later, this is Wano country. Rich, who was dozing off out of boredom, took out his cell phone which suddenly rang and yawned, "Hello? Who? Oh, Minato? What's up? What's going on?" As if he had heard something shocking, he sat up straight, his mouth twitched, and silently looked at the cell phone in his hand which had ended the call. Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha were bewitched by a boy named Luffy to go out to sea as pirates. Of course, what surprised him even more was they were caught before they even left the East China Sea. Really? What a sin! Rich sighed and shook his head. Extra, sponsorship of the voyage. After receiving Minato's call, Rich thought about it and decided to go there in person, although a phone call could also get them to release them. After all, not much had happened. What could have happened if the 3 little ghosts hadn't even left the East China Sea? However, Minato called him, probably wanting him to catch the 2 little ghosts back, so he still had to go there. Ace, a senior executive of the Rich Group, was also traveling with them. When Ace heard that his younger brother was caught in pursuit of his dream, he was also confused, but then he smiled helplessly and sighed. Back then, the 3 teenagers agreed to become famous together on the sea, pursue their freedom on the sea, and realize their dreams. Result: now, the 2 elder brothers. One became a senior official of the Alliance, and the other went to work in a factory. Only the younger brother has always insisted on his dream of becoming a pirate. Ace smiled bitterly, "I will persuade Luffy." After a while, bringing Ace, Rich opened a door, and the 2 came to the Alliance headquarters. To be honest, A small pirate group made up of just 3 little kids was actually detained in Impel Down? No matter how you look at it, it's a bit unreasonable. You know, the current Impel Down is not the former Impel Down, but the new Impel Down. Since the fall of the world government, before the outbreak of the Pirate Freedom War, there was a riot in Impel Down. Countless pirates poured in and released a group of extremely vicious pirates. In order to pursue the so-called freedom, everyone cooperated and started a war on the sea, but in the end they were defeated. I won't say much here. If you want to know, you can check it on the Jounin. There are a lot of them. Afterwards, Impulse Down has also been rebuilt. I heard that it was designed by a special expert designer invited by the rich group. As for that expert, from the beginning of the construction of the new Impel Down to the completion of the construction, it seems that no one else has seen it except Uchiha Rich. Who is ID is still a secret. It's just that there are rumors that the designer is proficient in many ways of jailbreaking and is a master jailbreaker. He knows the prisoner's jailbreaking thinking very well. Therefore, after the completion of the new Impel Down, no one has successfully escaped. Master Prison Designer. So terrifying. Now Impel Down has become a prison that scares countless criminals on the sea, and it is even more famous than the Impel Down in the past. Therefore, no matter whether it is the old Impel Down or the new Impel Down, it is impossible to imprison such a nobody. Just out to sea, there is not even a reward. The two arrived at the Fuyu milk tea shop near Impel Down, and someone came to pick them up after a while. Luffy's other brother, a senior official of the Alliance, Sabo. At this time, after seeing Ace, the two looked at each other and smiled again. Afterwards, Sabo looked at Fuyu helplessly, took off his hat, and bent down. Sorry. Mr. Fuyu, I didn't know so many things happened. He hesitated for a moment. Actually, it was Grandpa Garp who called in person, and then, Marshal Sakazuki heard it, so he took action himself. Of course, he was just going to lock them up in the city of Impel Down to scare them. So, the one who reported it was. That's right. Sabo also had a strange smile on his face and nodded. Grandpa Garp. X2. It's really a sin. Let's not talk about Sakazuki and Garp. Luffy's adventure dream hasn't even begun, and it was ruined by his grandfather. Forget it. Fuyu waved his hand and shook his head. I'll go over and take a look. Said. Under the leadership of Sabo, the 3 people also entered the new Impel Down. Looking at the nightmare of the sea in front of him, the new Impel Down, Fuyu sighed in his heart. Soon, the group came to the prison where Luffy and the other 2 were imprisoned. However, I told you not to be a pirate. Pirates are being punished so severely here. You still come to be a pirate. Okay, now you are in the Impel Down, damn it. It's all Naruto's fault. If my father hears it, he will definitely pull out his belt. But Sasuke, you also agreed. We are partners. We can't quarrel. The friendship seems to have capsized. The 3 little ghosts were quarreling, and even after a while, Luffy, who was originally persuading, also quarreled and shouted, "You are no longer my partners. Partners can't quarrel over such trivial matters." In fact, it is common for Naruto and Sasuke to quarrel. These 2 guys quarrel a few words from time to time. It's commonplace. Just ignore it. What to do? Luffy probably doesn't know yet. At this time, it seemed that they had quarreled and got angry. The 3 little ghosts shouted together, "I will ignore you," when they turned their heads and sulked in their own corners. However, cough 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 x3. 3 sudden coughs attracted them. The 3 little ghosts raised their heads and looked at the 3 people in front of them with dark faces in surprise, but after a while, they all had surprises on their faces. Sabo, Ace, Uncle Fuyu, X2. But after shouting, they lowered their heads embarrassedly, as if they were also ashamed of the quarrel just now. That's enough. Fuyu didn't care, smiled, shook his head, come out. After the words fell. Bling. The three people's eyes lit up and looked up at Uncle Fuyu. Naruto said excitedly, Uncle Fuyu. Are you here to rescue us? Nonsense. Sasuke slapped Luffy, of course he is here to rescue us. He is Uncle Fuyu. Thank you. And Ace, Sabo. Damn it. Finally we can leave here. Those guys didn't even feed me. I'm so hungry. Me. Uzumaki Naruto. Even if I die in the sea, I will never come here again. Shut up. Don't say anything after we get out. If Father and Hokage know about it, we will be in danger. That's right. Hee. It's okay. It's only been a few days. Dad is so busy, how could he know? He probably just thought we were out playing. Just don't talk nonsense this time. Don't worry, I won't tell. It's okay. Looking at the two little kids who were quarreling again, Fuyu shook his head and said with a smile, it doesn't matter even if you tell. After that, the two kids were stunned, and then their faces were filled with excitement. Uncle Fuyu, can you make Dad and the others stop beating us? That's right, with Uncle Fuyu's help, nothing will happen. However, no. I mean it doesn't matter if you say it or not, after all, they already know it. Fuyu shrugged and said casually, it was Minato who asked me to take you back. X2. The two of them looked at Uncle Fuyu with petrified faces. Then, they looked at each other expressionlessly. Then, he sat back in the corner and waved his hand, Uncle Fuyu. You don't have to pick us up. Go. That's right. Go. Go. It's nice here. Everyone in Push City is talented and speaks well. I love it there. We're not going back. Fuyu looked at the two guys who were shrinking in the corner and dared not face reality in silence. Go. No. Your father is waiting for you. That's why I'm not going back. It's too embarrassing. If you don't go back, I'll have to arrest you. Just as the words fell. When the two heard that Uncle Fuyu was going to do it himself, they stood up quickly and pulled their ears. After all, Uncle Fuyu is very strong. They couldn't resist at all. If they resisted, Dad and the others would only beat them harder. At this time, suddenly, they are my partners. Luffy looked at Rich with a firm face and stood in front of Rich. We agreed to find the great secret treasure together. Sorry, as long as they don't go back voluntarily, as a captain, I can't watch my partners being taken away by force. No one can take them back. Luffy. X2. Ace and Sabo looked at Luffy, who blocked Mr. Rich for no reason, and their faces were also a little panicked and helpless. It's impossible for you to become the Pirate King now. Don't stop Mr. Rich. However, I am the captain. They are my crew. Luffy said stubbornly, I am the man who will become the Pirate King. We agreed to go on adventures together. This is an agreement. It is also my dream. The determination of this dream also shocked Sabo and Ace, but they still shook their heads with a wry smile and said, in order to prevent the revival of the pirate rebellion. As long as the pirate flag is hung, they will be hunted by the Alliance. Even so, my dream will not end like this. Before the two continued to persuade. Yes. Uncle Fuyu. Naruto, this silly boy seemed to be infected. Seeing Luffy, who dared to stop Uncle Fuyu for them, he immediately stood up and looked at Uncle Fuyu with the same firmness. This is Luffy's dream. It's also our agreement. You idiot. And Naruto came out. How could Sasuke not come out? After cursing Naruto, he lowered his head helplessly. Sorry, Uncle Fuyu. We agreed. Naruto. Sasuke. This scene moved Luffy so much that tears came to his eyes. At this time, even Ace and Sabo were moved by their friendship. This is the man of the sea. But Fuyu only saw 3 rebellious little ghosts, his mouth twitched, and he said helplessly, "You Minato and Fugaku might as well pull out their belts." Uncle Fuyu X2. Mr. Fuyu X2. Even Ace and Sabo looked at Fuyu seriously. At this time. Actually, we just want to prove ourselves. Naruto hesitated, and said disappointedly, because the other Naruto and Sasuke are very powerful. Sasuke and I look stupid. So, we just want to find the big secret treasure to prove ourselves. You idiot. I don't have it. That's you. I know yours, and you too. You know, you are Sasuke. The two quarreled again. But Fuyu looked at the two in silence. That's right. Naruto, Sasuke one is the 7th generation Hokage, and the other is the top ninja who opened the Samsara Eye, and these two, although they didn't say it, they lived very happily, but I guess when they compared the two sides and heard others praise the other self, they would feel lost in their hearts. Therefore, they thought about finding the so-called big secret treasure, doing something big, and want to prove themselves. Forget it, Fuyu rubbed his forehead, I'll tell Minato and Fugaku. As for you, under the expectation of everyone, his tone became serious, it's impossible to be a pirate. Ah, Uncle Fuyu, we X2. Before the two of them could speak, Fuyu waved his hand again and said with a smile, listen to me. But the adventure can be carried out. He frowned and pondered for a while, establish a long-distance trade group. Call it Uchiha Glory Nine-Tailed Straw Hat Long Distance Group. To be honest, why don't you change this damn name? After the words fell, the three looked at Fuyu expectantly. Is that all right? Of course you have to advertise for Fuyu Group, never mind. As for advertising, I will arrange for someone to do it every once in a while, and you just need to follow the arrangement. And I will sponsor you, and help you get all the certificates, and the company will be under Fuyu Group. Can you agree? Yes, yes, yes. The 5 people nodded quickly, looking at Fuyu happily. Of course. It's great to be able to take risks. 3 days later, a ship set out from the kingdom of Goa again. However, the original Skull Pirate flag was now hung with the flag of the Uchiha Glory Nine-Tailed Straw Hat Sailing Trade Group. This is a regular sailing trading company, and all kinds of certificates have been processed in the alliance, and it is also a small company under the Fuyu Group. 3 teenagers set out again for their dreams, to prove themselves, and for adventure. Under the setting sun, on the slowly sailing ship. This is exclusively sponsored by Fuyu Group. Drink rich milk tea, refresh, and fight fatigue. The colorful advertisement is particularly eye-catching. Extra, the General of Wano Country. 2 years have passed. The 3 little ones have grown up. They are no longer 3 or 4-year-old children. This makes White Zetsu 9527, who takes care of the 3 little ones and sees them grow up, feel very relieved. Boss Doraemon has also become an excellent boss. The day to rescue Kaguya is getting closer. White Zetsu believes. In the near future, Boss Doraemon will definitely inherit the rich group, control the 2 worlds of the ninja realm and the sea, and lead them to rescue Kaguya-sama. Today, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. It's the day when General Doraemon inspects Wano Country. Under the leadership of General Doraemon, countless retainers and White Zetsu brothers followed behind with sincere submission. Looking at the little No. It should be said that the majestic figure standing in front of them, the White Zetsu also had excited smiles on their faces. Big Boss Xiao Ding Dang has really grown up. I didn't see it. This country that was once as filthy as a ruin has become better under the governance of General Xiao Ding Dang. And under the inspection of General Xiao Ding Dang, countless subjects of Wano Country bowed their heads respectfully and offered their loyalty and praise to the majestic General of Wano Country. Is General Xiao Ding Dang here to inspect Wano Country again today? Do you want some glutinous rice cakes? Oh, General Xiao Ding Dang is so cute. I want to hug him. As expected of the general of Wano country. The general is here. Look everyone. Even though General Xiao Ding Dang is still young and it hasn't been long since she succeeded the position of general, she still relies on her own will and means to make the subjects of the entire Wano country submit to her. As expected of their white Zetsu leader of the absolute army. He has extraordinary talent since childhood. The small steps, the faint, cute, smile, the eyes that seem to have divine light. General Doraemon has the talent to be a strong man in the ninja world. And he is very considerate of his subordinates. He is an excellent leader. I didn't see it. When he saw that his retainers were tired, he quietly slowed down his pace. This is to show consideration for his retainers. That generous smile lies the kindness in the heart of Doraemon. Balala. Looking at the majestic figure, all the white Zetsu felt that they had finally gotten what they wanted, as if they had seen the future full of hope. This is General Doraemon. She is no longer the child who wet the bed. She. Just when the white Zetsu began to praise her in their hearts. Suddenly. Boss Doraemon stopped and his little body trembled slightly. What happened? Did the boss Doraemon sense some danger? Just when the white Zetsu were confused. Kojiki Hiri smiled slightly, squatted down, and gently picked up Doraemon. Are you tired? That's right. We've been walking all day. Recently, Doraemon has been training very hard. What an amazing general. No, it's hard. Doraemon smiled embarrassedly, lowered his little head, and said softly, 9527. They said that I will definitely become stronger. So, I will definitely work hard. I can't let everyone down. In that case we should go back too. You should take a rest. Hiri smiled gently at Doraemon, and did not put her down. By the way, your brother Tuer is getting married in a few days. Yeah, with Sister Mao Mao. Do you want to go, Sister Hiri? They have a big cat at home. Cat? A cat bigger than the one at Sister Xiao's house. An even bigger cat? I'm really curious. Hiri nodded slightly, and looked at Ding Dang, whose eyelids were closed and whose head was nodding, and patted her gently. Go to sleep. Hiri will take you back. Your dad is really something. You need to train at such a young age. No. Don't blame Dad. Xiao Miho looked half asleep, and said in a daze, because I promised 9527 that I would become stronger. So, Ding Dang has to work very hard. The voice became smaller and smaller, and the whole little body lay directly on Hiri's broad chest, muttering, training is the only way. The trembling little eyelashes seemed to have fallen asleep. What a little cutie! Hiri Kojiki pinched General Doraemon's face, raised the corner of her mouth slightly, and said softly, thank you, General Doraemon. And on the side, white Zetsu? Tears streaming down their faces. Looking closely at that small figure. It turns out Boss Doraemon has always remembered it. Although Boss Doraemon is still young, she has never forgotten their agreement and has been working hard for them, the white Zetsu. She is worthy of being Boss Doraemon. She used her thin shoulders to carry the mission of the white Zetsu. The white Zetsu looked at the sleeping face of Doraemon, who was smacking her lips, holding her thumb, and leaning on Hiri. Even when she was asleep, she was still full of majesty. What? Can't sleep for the mission? Who said that? You have to know that Boss Doraemon is just a child. Boss Doraemon is just taking a rest, not sleeping. Whoever talks nonsense will be killed. The Baiju army quickly quieted down, looking at the small sleeping face. They were more determined their mission would be completed. What's more important now is, don't disturb the little Ding Dang boss's rest. However, at this time, just when everyone was about to go back, balala. Suddenly, the phone rang. Who's? The Baiju's eyes suddenly changed, and they looked sharply in the direction of the ringing. "How dare you disturb the little ding-dang boss's rest?" Suddenly, the new leader of the Baiju army, 9527, took out his mobile phone with cold sweat on his forehead, glanced at the little ding-dang boss who was not awakened, and then quickly answered the phone, saying with a dark face, "Who? What's the matter? Tell me quickly. You dare to call me at this time? If you have nothing to do, I will kill you." However, after a while, 9527 turned off the phone with a gloomy face, as if he had just heard some incredible news, and looked at the white Zetsu around him with cold eyes. But he did not speak, but communicated quickly through spores. About a quarter of an hour later, just when Hiri was wondering what was going on, Balala! All the white Zetsu raised their hands angrily, and then, under the leadership of 9527, the whole army set out for July. Someone dared to question General Xiao Ding Dang? Isn't he afraid of death? Kill them! Time moved forward a little. Father! Mother! Hiri! Eyes closed and opened. It seemed like a moment, and it seemed like just a moment had passed, but when Momonosuke and the others felt the sunlight shining through their eyes, they knew father, mother and Hiri had also left them. From this moment, their mission has begun. In order to save Wano country and to drive away those hateful guys, they have placed their hopes in this era. When the 9 red scabbards return, hope will appear. Lord Momonosuke. Here. It's okay. I guess what's going on here. Don't worry, I won't cry. Because I'm Kojiki Momonosuke. I guess this place has become a paradise for a group of pirates. It's full of killing, evil, and blood. The people of Wano country should also be suffering. That group of hateful guys will definitely destroy Wano country. Momonosuke wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes, with a firm face, and slowly opened his eyes, but even if this is purgatory, there is no future here. We must bring hope to Wano country and fulfill the promise with our mother and father. The words were not finished. In order to show his will, Momonosuke opened his eyes while speaking, ready to take a good look at this country destroyed by the beasts, pirates and Kurozumi Orokai. However, in front of me, clean and tidy, bright and spacious, spotless, as if someone had specially cleaned it. Where is this? Where? Momonosuke glanced around in confusion. The streets were also neat and clean, and not far away there were strange metal towers and passers-by who were neatly dressed and full of energy. Is this not Wano country anymore? Or is it the interior of the beasts' pirates? Just as the words fell, a trembling but firm voice came from the side. This is Kuri. Extra, the terrifying General Ding Dang. No. No. Kinemon was also stunned, and he stretched out his finger tremblingly in disbelief, pointing to the front. This should still be Wano country. It's Kuri in Wano country. Impossible. Wano country is not like this. Really? I didn't lie to you. Lord Momonosuke, please look ahead. Ahead? What's ahead? Momonosuke was surprised for a moment, but still turned his head to look over. Suddenly in front of him, rows and rows of. Is that a tombstone? We were sent to the cemetery. Whose tomb is this? Let me see. Curiously leaned over, Kojiki Odin? This name is a bit familiar, the same as my father's name. After the words fell, Kinemon looked at Lord Momonosuke with tears in his eyes. This is our tomb. Our tomb. Momonosuke was stunned, and then looked down. Kojiki Toki. Kojiki Hiri. Kojiki Momonosuke. Kinemon. What's going on? It's really their tomb. How come it's so clean? Did someone help them clean it? Just as everyone was looking at the rows of tombs stupidly, Strange voices seemed to come from the side. This is Kuri, the cenotaph of the Kojiki clan and their retainers, and it's also a famous attraction in Wano country. Everyone knows about the battle between the beasts pirates, Kurozumi Orakai, and the Kojiki clan. Yes, there's also that rumor, the returning dead souls. But now everyone just listen to it. I know. Because the 9 red scabbards didn't die. The so-called prophecy didn't come true at all. That's right. The man with a hat with rich travel agency printed on it, like a tour guide, nodded with a smile. So everyone guessed that might just be a lie that Toki told to give Wano country hope. As soon as the words fell. This is not a lie. Suddenly, a roar came from the side. We are back. We are the returned souls. Mother didn't lie. What is this kid talking about? Who is his mother? A fanatic of the Kojiki clan? The tour guide and tourists looked at Momonosuke in front of them in confusion, but after a while, they smiled and said, "Hello, kid, are you curious about the history here? If you don't understand, you can ask. I know better than you." Momonosuke stared angrily at the guy in front of him who didn't believe him, and said, "You know, we are the returned souls, and the 9 red scabbards will definitely drive away the beast pirates, woohoo." He didn't finish his words. Kinemon covered his mouth and looked at the people in front of him apologetically, saying, "Sorry. My child is just talking nonsense. I can hear it. After all, the beast's pirates have long been destroyed. What else can it be but nonsense?" The tour guide didn't care and said, as a matter of course, if it weren't for the appearance of General Doraemon. If the dead souls really returned, Wano country would have been gone. The people of Wano country lived a miserable life at that time. After saying that, he looked in surprise at the people in front of him, who were staring at him stupidly, wearing strange clothes that looked a little old, just like the clothes of Wano country before. "What's wrong?" After the words fell. "You said the beast's pirates were destroyed." XN. Everyone was in disbelief and raised their voices directly. "Yes." The tour guide looked at him in confusion. "Hasn't it been destroyed for a few years? We can find out by checking with the Jonin. Is it really destroyed?" Momonosuke and the others looked at each other in shock, and then everyone showed excitement on their faces. Success? Success! Could it be that Hiri succeeded? That's right. Mother left another hope at that time. It must be Hiri and the others. I didn't expect that Hiri and the others actually drove away the beast's pirates. So now Momonosuke and Kinemon looked at each other, their mouths slightly raised, both with a hint of smile. The general of Wano country is Hiri. General Doraemon. It's General Doraemon. The tour guide next to him said excitedly. He inherited the position of the general of Wano country at a young age. This is the general that everyone in Wano country admires. But as soon as the words fell, Momonosuke and the others looked at each other in silence again, and then turned to look at the tour guide. Who came? Wasn't it Hiri? Someone else saved Wano country? General Doraemon. Lord Momonosuke, you. It doesn't matter. Momonosuke waved his hand, and seemed to be relieved, and said with a smile, "My father and I don't really care who becomes the general of Wano country." He glanced around. It seems that the people of Wano country are living very well. That's all. I think Hiri thinks so too. General Doraemon must be a very capable person. He can defeat the beast's pirates. He must be a great and amazing warrior like my father. It must be like this. After all, you have to know that it is the king of beasts. It is a monster that even my father finds difficult. There is actually someone who can destroy the entire beast's pirates? If he hadn't seen the changes in Wano country, he wouldn't have believed it. I really want to see with my own eyes General Doraemon. What a hero! After saying that, Kinemon and the others also had longing in their eyes, and they also wanted to see this hero like Lord Odin. However, no. The tour guide's mouth twitched slightly. General Doraemon is different from Lord Odin, she is a woman. Then she must be a female hero. No. The tour guide looked at a group of guys with longing and admiration in their eyes. How come these guys don't understand anything? After hesitating for a while, he said, General Doraemon is only 5 years old. Oh, no, after his birthday this year, he will be 6 years old. After saying that. What the hell? 5 years old? Hiss. Everyone gasped, a 5 or 6-year-old strong man. Are the children of the sea so terrifying now? Impossible. Momonosuke looked at the tour guide in front of him in disbelief. How could a little girl of only 5 or 6 years old become the general of Wano country? Are you fooling me? I didn't. Little kid, don't be disrespectful to General Doraemon. I don't care. You must be lying to me. How could General Doraemon be a 5 or 6-year-old? However, this time, Momonosuke hasn't finished speaking yet. Suddenly, figures emerged from the ground one after another. That's right. Figures one after another. Continuously emerging from the ground. All of a sudden, there were dense crowds in front of them, occupying the entire valley and directly surrounding them, which made Momonosuke stop talking and look at the front with horror. This group of guys. Who is it? Witchcraft? Could it be? The beast's pirates did not disappear, but waited for them here on purpose? Just when Momonosuke and his people were about to break the encirclement with nervous eyes. Who is questioning the great General Doraemon? One after another, a sinister voice sounded. Great General Doraemon? Before Momonosuke could react, the white Zetsus seemed to have received some information, and turned to him at the same time, narrowing their eyes and looking at Momonosuke. It is you, a little kid, who dares to question the great General Doraemon. So, who is the great General Doraemon? Is he really only 5 or 6 years old? Is he so scary? Update in the afternoon. 404 not found. 404 not found. Open Resty. Extra, afternoon tea of Robin Xiaomi. Today. It is a nice day. So, the intern Xiaomi, Miss Robin, who had been busy all day, sat lazily by the office window and drank black tea elegantly. The black tea with wisps of green smoke, combined with the warm afternoon sunshine, made people's hearts slowly calm down. Robin slightly opened her rosy little mouth, stretched comfortably, and let out a faint moan. The exquisite white office shirt, coupled with the black short hip skirt, immediately outlined the graceful and charming figure. Full temptation. Then she rested her right hand on the table, holding her chin. After a while, she seemed to think of something, and turned her head to look at the boss, who was sleeping in the boss chair beside her. What a reassuring day! If it was 2 years ago, maybe she would not have thought of herself as a demon. Forget it, this title is really a bit shameful to say it now. It is obviously a normal title, how come it becomes abnormal after being said by this hateful boss? But to be honest, I really can't imagine that she, a woman known as the evil of the sea, can live such a leisurely life. Robin's mouth corners slightly raised, outlining a warm and strange smile. Thinking of 2 years ago. The guy who came to the door and tried to pry her out in front of Crocodile, he asked her to change jobs with 50 million. The pie was very big, and the treatment was very good, but until now she has not been hired. Damn it! At that time, a guy who had the ability to defeat the 7 warlords of the sea was poaching people in front of Crocodile. And the one he poached was a criminal wanted by the world government, the last historian of the sea, and a bad woman who had the ability to decipher historical texts. Especially in Alabasta. No matter how you look at it, this guy should be an ambitious person. Maybe like Crocodile, he did it for Pluto? That's what she thought at the time. However, afterwards, he really treated her as an intern assistant. This has been going on for more than 2 years. Then, the beast's pirates were destroyed, the world government disappeared, and the bounty on her was also removed. As for the historical texts, she had already read them, and that covered up history. You can find it by searching on Ninjago. It's too long, so I won't say more here. Except for the shock she felt when she first saw it, her heart gradually calmed down afterwards. That was in the past, the world government was gone, and Pluto was also in the World Government Museum. 200 Baileys would allow him to visit. See Kinjo can also see it by following Princess of the Kingdom of Dragon Palace on Ninjago. That was a very popular internet celebrity. This sea was also calm, and there was nothing that could threaten this sea. Why did she think so much? Even her information could be found on Ninjago Encyclopedia. The only thing that bothered her was probably Robin. Gender, female. Age, 26. The second in command of the rich group, Uchiha Rich's little honey. Once called the son of the devil on the sea, the witch of betrayal. Really? How can you write a woman's age? It's really abominable. Of course. It's been so many years. After the Ninja World and the Sea Network were connected, she also knew a lot of things. For example, this hateful, black-hearted, deceitful boss came from another world, has 3 wives, and the 3 little ding-dangs have different mothers, and the family relationship is very complicated. At the same time, it seems that he has unclear relationships with the director of the Konoha orphanage and a woman in the Sand Village. Boss. Life is a bit unruly. What a bad boss. And she. Xiaomi. At this moment, Miss Robin couldn't help but think of the novels she had secretly read at night under the covers during this period. The domineering president falls in love with me. The little secretary of the black-bellied president. Mr. President, have you enough? Her cheeks flushed slightly, and the plump and fair thighs outlined by the short skirt were slightly clamped and overlapped. Then, she couldn't help but smile again, then stretched out her hand to cover the corners of her mouth, narrowed her eyes slightly, and looked at the boss who was covered with newspapers. She curled up on the recliner, occasionally pulling the newspaper and rubbing her body. She wasn't discovered. Thinking about it, she stretched out her hand helplessly, and suddenly 2 hands stretched out from the rich man's body, holding a blanket in his hands, and covered him directly. Looking at the boss who seemed to be satisfied and fell asleep again, Miss Robin was relieved and her mouth corners were slightly raised again. Don't say it. It's a very interesting novel. It was the novel written by the great writer Traveling Toad, and even she, a bad girl on the sea, blushed when reading it. It must not be discovered. As the intern assistant of the boss, I have to keep a close eye on the boss. Miss Robin murmured to herself, I am enough as a bad girl, don't let other bad girls get close to me. Especially the bad girl who came close with ulterior motive CP9 agent Khalifa. This bad girl dressed up gorgeously every day, and was very seductive, and deliberately wore glasses. She either bent down or squatted in front of the boss, and from time to time she said bad things about her in front of the boss. She is a scheming bad girl. You must pay attention. After secretly cursing the bad woman in her heart, Miss Robin smiled again, took the black tea on the table very comfortably, and drank another sip. However, it is still a bit regrettable. When can I get a permanent job? At this time, the door was opened. Miss Robin seemed to have heard the person coming in. She glanced at the boss who was sleeping on his side and smacking his lips elegantly, smiled slightly and murmured softly, it seems the leisurely afternoon tea time is over. What a nice afternoon. Fuyu felt a little itchy on his face, slowly opened his eyes, then stretched comfortably, picked up the blanket covering his body, looked at the little bell scratching on his face helplessly, and picked it up directly. Are you back? Yeah, I'm back. Tinker Bell is awake. Tinker Bell sat obediently in his father's arms and nodded, Dad, but she keeps sleeping. Really? Fuyu nudged Doraemon, making the little girl giggle, and looked around. Next to her were Zyobin and Hiri Kojiki, who were drinking tea slowly. It's just it looks like the atmosphere is a bit quiet. It's too quiet. Then, where are those little white guys? Why aren't they here? Aren't they always with Doraemon? Especially 9527. Fortunately, Doraemon is her daughter, and there is Hanabi watching her, otherwise, she would be led astray by these little white guys with their heads full of balala sooner or later. After the words fell, Hiri Kojiki also turned her head, smiled slightly, and said in an elegant and gentle voice, Mr. 9527 received a call and went out. At this point, she frowned slightly. It seems that he went to July, and I don't know what happened. These guys forget it. Sometimes they are crazy. Fuyu waved his hand. Of course he knew the purpose of this group of white Zetsu. They just saw that another black Zetsu in the ninja world failed, so they planned to change their way and flatter his daughter directly. But it must be said, they are a group of filial sons. How about find a time and think of a way to release the people? After all, these little white people are really dedicated. Anyway, it won't be a problem if they are released. Forget it, when Tuer gets married in a while, I'll go over and take a look. Just as the words fell, the phone rang suddenly. Fuyu answered the call directly. When he heard the voice of White Zetsu, his face was surprised, and then after a while, he looked at Kojiki Hiri next to him with a strange look on his face. Kojiki Hiri was also stunned when she saw Fuyu's expression, and asked in confusion, "What's the matter, Mr. Fuyu?" "It's nothing, it's just that someone." Fuyu pinched Doraemon's face and said with a smile, questioning Doraemon's qualifications to be the general. After the words fell, Kojiki Hiri also frowned, and her face became serious. The momentum of Princess Kojiki was obvious. Who questioned it? Doraemon has been recognized by the people of Wano country. Could it be that Mr. 9527 found out that someone wanted to make trouble? Then he looked at Fuyu with a serious tone, in order to maintain the dignity of the general. For this, corresponding punishment should be imposed. Who did you find out? It seems to be your brother. Bonus, Tuer's wedding is coming. Momonosuke and the others will travel back. Fuyu already knew about it, so he didn't find it strange. How to deal with it? Just deal with it, not to mention that there are only a few people, they can't make any waves at all. Even if Kojiki Oden is really reborn, it is probably useless in Wano country now. The general of Wano country is Uchiha Ling Dang. If anyone dares to make trouble, she has tens of thousands of white people standing behind her to make them suffer. 2 years. The changes are too big. More. Even the world government has perished. I guess they will understand after watching the ninja degree. General Doraemon is a great general. Therefore, go to school, do what you need to do, and clean up the traitors. As for the rest, I believe they will understand after going to the ninja degree. If you don't understand, check the ninja degree and you will understand. He is still very busy during this period. After all, Tuer is getting married soon. As a father, he definitely doesn't have other time to care about this kind of thing. Boring things. This is the ninja world, the Ninja Legend virtual world. Today's Ninja Legend seems particularly deserted. The players who used to be lively seem to be offline today. Therefore the Otsutsuki foursome felt strange after suddenly receiving the holiday news from the superiors. Actually, they are on holiday? To be honest, it's been so long. They are used to living here. As long as they show their faces from time to time, and then say a few arrogant words in front of those so-called players, and then hang up with a sound of awe, and a bunch of equipment will be exploded. It's quite relaxing. The only hard part may be that sometimes they need to receive hundreds of customers a day. Fortunately, they are hidden bosses and cannot be brushed at will, otherwise, they probably won't have to rest for the whole day. Today, we received news from the superiors. The game needs to be upgraded in these 3 days, so they were given a holiday. Hehe, I don't know what happened. They actually had 3 consecutive days off. It's incredible. Otsutsuki Urashiki smiled and played a card, 3 tubes. Then he looked at Otsutsuki Momoshiki beside him. Momo-senpai, don't you think so? Otsutsuki Momoshiki looked at this guy expressionlessly. He had known this weird guy for a long time. In the past, he was a senior in front of people, and Momo-senpai behind people. Now he is a good guy, calling him Momo-senpai directly. He snorted coldly, "Do you believe I will kill you?" How scary! Otsutsuki Urashiki screamed in fear, and then looked at Otsutsuki Ishiki. "It's your turn." 3 tubes. Otsutsuki Ishiki also played a card like Otsutsuki Urashiki, and said coldly, "Don't make noise. Play cards well. Gocho." Kagaya also played a card and said coldly, "Someone is getting married." After a slight pause, Black Zetsu said so. "How cold. He didn't even tell me to play cards. It's rare for us to play cards together, don't be so cold, be happy." Otsutsuki Urashiki shrugged, then whistled, played another card, and continued, "Someone is getting married and they are giving us a holiday? Is it some big shot getting married? Could it be that scary Uchiha Fuyu? Oh, is he getting married again?" However, Otsutsuki Momoshiki raised her eyelids and said expressionlessly, "Shut up. Is Xiao Momo shy?" Otsutsuki Urashiki continued to say sarcastically, "By the way, I don't know how strong that guy is now. Can he beat the god of Otsutsuki? I heard that Xiao Momo was pushed in and out by him at that time. What a terrible power! Now he didn't even catch the 4 of us and forced us to work here." "Shut up! And Senior Kagaya, how can you have such a terrible descendant? The fruit of the sacred tree doesn't have such a terrible ability, is it a mutation? Shut up! I heard that you, Otsutsuki Ishiki, are very miserable. You made so many containers, but when you were about to succeed, he just passed by. Shut up! I'll tell you. That is a terrible human. By the way, I am going. I remember. This time, I have to be a better equipment. So many people are so terrible. You should close your mouth. Didn't you see that Hueye and the predecessors were angry?" The chatterbox Otsutsuki Urashiki's face finally changed, and he shouted, "Stop talking. I won't talk. Let's continue playing normal mahjong, really. If I lose again, I'll be gone next time someone comes to kill me, I won't be able to get any equipment." However, as soon as these words fell, the other 3 people narrowed their eyes and looked at each other. "I suddenly want to play ninja mahjong. That's what I mean. It's interesting." Before Otsutsuki Urashiki could react, he was directly sent out by the 3 people together, and then after Otsutsuki Urashiki was eliminated while cursing, 3 terrible auras rose from the mahjong table, and the 3 people looked at each other. "Ninja mahjong. Fight to the end. Start now." Time passed bit by bit. Konoha gradually became lively. There were lights and decorations everywhere, and the villagers were also filled with happy smiles. People from the nearby villages, even from another ninja world's ninja village, kept coming. The beloved disciple of the 4th Hokage, the adopted son of the richest man in the ninja world, Uchiha Obito, wanted to curse after hearing this, was finally getting married. You should know that this is not just a simple marriage of an Uchiha clan member. After all, Uchiha Obito's identity is not ordinary. He used to be a god in another world, which brought pain to the entire ninja world. Therefore, the marriage of Obito in this ninja world not only carries the future that many ninjas in another ninja world expect, but also represents this ninja world a different future. So, this is a big happy event. For this wedding, Minato started preparing for his beloved disciple a few months ago. Even when his son went astray and was bewitched to become a pirate, he did not personally go to bring him back after being caught. You can imagine. Minato attaches great importance to this wedding. Today, the wedding of Konoha Uchiha Obito and 2 Kyumo ninjas, Yukato. It's finally here. Extra, everyone gathered. Obito. He finally got married. As Obito's best friend, Kakashi was also very happy. He had been looking forward to this day and fantasizing about it for a long time. Although the bride was unexpectedly not Rin, as long as Obito felt happy, as long as Obito was happy, he would send his blessings. Early in the morning, the 6th Kakashi took out the precious suit that he wore when he attended Naruto's wedding, and put on a more formal makeup, and came to attend the wedding with a smile on his face. After arriving at the venue, he also saw another ninja world, him and Asuma and the others. Don't say. When he saw another self, he felt strange inside, especially Rin was here. But seeing Rin and another him, the 6th Kakashi also smiled with relief. Father, did you see it? Another me might also be getting married soon. This is another ninja world. This is another ninja world. After mumbling a few words in my heart, I looked up. So many familiar faces. The 3rd generation, Midaman NX2, Udatan Koharu X2, and the leader of the ninja world, Danzo, who is different from the leader of the ninja world, is full of heroic spirit, the commercial overlord of the North Sea, the root group boss Shimura Danzo. The 4th Hokage, Lady Kushina, Chief Fugaku, Mr. Dai, Itaki, Suzuki. Everyone in this ninja world is here. Except for my father, who is still not here. This is really a dream ninja world. The wedding has not started yet. The guests are coming one after another. I've long seen that there's something fishy between that guy Tuyi and the 2 Yunoko of the Cloud Ninja. Asuma laughed happily. Sure enough, they finally got married. Remember the Chunin entrance examination that year? That was the beginning of the legend. That year, Kakashi was carried back by Minato teacher, and then he was admitted to the hospital. That year, Kai was also admitted to the hospital after overestimating his own abilities, and understood the youth of facing fear. That year, the legend of Tuyi began to spread throughout the ninja world. Even he, the son of the 3rd Hokage, no longer dared to speak loudly to Tuyi. Looking at the sun in the sky, that was their lost youth. Asuma raised the wine in his hand, looked at his companions in front of him, and shouted loudly, "Let's wish Lord Tou happiness together." After the words fell, the woman's face was slightly red, the man's expression was strange, and everyone raised their wine with a melancholy look, as if they were admiring the lost youth. Seeing this scene, the 6th generation Kakashi couldn't help but smile, and raised his glass at the side, drank his own wine, and then looked at the familiar faces in front of him. It's great. Obito here has so many people supporting him and loving him. Did you see it? My best friend Obito. After that, Kakashi didn't disturb the happiness of Obito, who belonged to this ninja world, picked up the camera and walked to the other side. Uchiha Itaki and Uchiha Suzuki, Uchiha Suzuki, Uchiha Sarada, Uchiha Sakura. Uchiha family portrait must be taken. After taking the photo, continue to look forward and walk. Today is Obito's wedding. Even if this is another Obito in the ninja world, he will help his best friend take a picture of this happy moment. Jiraiya-sama, Tsunade-sama, and Tsunade-sama. Kakashi looked at Jiraiya-sama, who was in pain and happiness, took a few pictures, and then walked aside as if he didn't see it. Wish you happiness, Jiraiya-sama. Nth new book should be published soon. Behind them are Mr. Rich's family, huh? Where is Mr. Rich? Kakashi turned his head and looked around, but didn't see Mr. Rich. As the nominal father of Obito in this ninja world, he was very grateful to Mr. Rich for the love he gave to Obito. However, it seems that Mr. Rich is not here. He glanced at the table. Mr. Rich's children Uchiha Xiaoling, Uchiha Xiaoding and Uchiha Karin, and next to them were Mr. Rich's wife, Mr. Rich's wife, and he opened his eyes and glanced over. This moment, Kakashi, who has been single for decades, seemed to understand something in his heart. No wonder Mr. Fuyu didn't know to run away, and right, this atmosphere is so scary. I have heard that Mr. Fuyu is not in a decent life. Seeing it today, it's really eye-opening. After secretly taking a photo, he quickly ran away and came to the table of the fourth-generation teacher. However, the fourth-generation teacher was not here at this time. Only Kushina-sama, Naruto, Hinata, Boruto, and Himawari were here. Kakashi was slightly stunned, and then looked around again. When he saw the fourth-generation teacher, who was also carrying a camera not far away, he immediately understood something in his heart. I have heard that the fourth-generation teacher is a famous photographer in this ninja world. It seems that this is not just a rumor. At this time, Minato seemed to notice that someone was looking at him, and turned his head to look. Suddenly, the two looked at each other, and both smiled knowingly. As expected of my student, teacher. Then, the two did not disturb each other, and continued to carry the camera to shoot their own. Let's wait until the end, and then communicate with each other. Come to Orochimaru. Orochimaru, Mitsuki, Orochimaru, Kabuto Yakushi, Hojiki Suijutsu, and Karin, and the guy from the sea. It seems to be called Forget It. The name is too long. Just take it. But don't say. Compared to the Orochimaru who likes to dance in this ninja world, the Orochimaru in their ninja world is more like a woman. Mitsuki, is both the father and mother together? What a cause for celebration. Continue to walk to the other side. Next. Finally saw Obito's father. At this time, he sat with a very huge man with a crescent-shaped body. That was Whitebeard, the former 4 emperors of the sea. For him Kakashi is still quite clear. It is said that this guy is going to take Obito as his son, but he was beaten up by Obito. But later it seems that the relationship with Obito has become very good. How great! Obito in this ninja world has so many fathers who love him. Kakashi smiled with satisfaction, looking at the table in front of him. Mr. Fuyu might be exchanging his experience of being a father with Mr. Whitebeard. Inwardly some curiosity. Go closer to listen. Old White, Obito is my son. Don't steal my son. Obito is also my family. In the future, he will definitely inherit my Whitebeard shipping group. Come on. Just your little shipping group. What's the point? What is there to inherit? Sooner or later, he will call me dad. I am his dad. Looking at the two people arguing over Obito, Kakashi sighed in his heart, his mouth curled up slightly, and he quickly took a picture of this scene. Show it to Obito later. Let him understand. He has a wife who loves him, a close friend he can rely on, a teacher who leads him forward, a father who protects him from the wind and rain, and people who love him. I believe Obito will definitely like this gift very much. Next to him, Uzumaki Nagato, Konan, Yahiko, and the demigod of the ninja world, Hanzo of the salamander. I felt a sense of emotion in my heart. It was such a strange scene. But he was used to it. Kakashi walked along the way and saw familiar figures and unfamiliar people. For example, the first Hokage, the second Hokage, Uchiha Madara, and the beautiful woman next to him with her chin supported by her hands, looking at Madara with love in her eyes. Who is this woman? She is so beautiful. Why is she looking at Uchiha Madara like this? But Uchiha Madara looked impatient and disgusted. What happened? At this moment, Kakashi seemed to smell something different, and his heart was full of curiosity. However, at this time, welcome our newcomer. After the MC's words sounded, the music also sounded. Obito and his lover were about to enter. Kakashi also quickly turned the camera over and faced the front, ready to capture every moment of Obito at this time. It's time for us to go out. Obito smiled at Yukito next to him and stretched out his hand. Yukito. Yukito also smiled slightly, with a rosy face, gently stretched out his hand and held Obito's hand. In the future I'll leave it to you. Although it was only one word, the solemn tone represented Obito's promise. Holding Yukito's hand tightly, I couldn't help but think of the past. The beginning of their meeting. Forget it, forget it. I still don't want to think about it, there's nothing to think about. Under the solemn music, under the gaze and blessings of everyone, Obito held Yukito's hand and walked slowly with a smile on his face. What a beautiful scene! Kakashi took a picture of this sacred scene with a smile on his face. After a while. Next, Mr. Uchiha Fuyu, the father of Uchiha Obito, will give a speech. Mr. Fuyu appeared on the stage, walked up with a smile and pride on his face, and said to the microphone, "At this moment, as the father of Uchiha, I feel very happy." However, before he finished speaking, Susanoo. Suddenly, an angry voice sounded. "Hey, Uchiha! Today is your big day. I know you are very excited, but you don't have to use Susanoo, calm down. Damn it! I will kill you." Amidst the laughter, Obito's wedding continued.